Corfu. Corfu morning Greece. Total sat idle at port on the wooden pier, looking at the braided sea, while huge ferries and freighter ships scudded across the dark water below a landscape of cypress trees and olive groves. Bobby and Love talked with two fellow mariners that sounded as if they were from Australia. Total thought to himself, those old ships rust with no use. Get their life back when they leave port, wind and water shines them anew. Margins of their maps get stretched with every embarkment. They waited for the road vessel that was going to take them to the legendary Pink Palace. A mystical Dionysian paradise highly recommended by everyone who they met en route. Total looked over to see Bobby walking toward him from the bus stop and across the huge deck to explain what the latest information was. The guy at his desk and the two horses boys seemed to believe that the pink bus will be here in 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Questioned Total in annoyance. The man in the booth said that 10 minutes ago. Yeah, well, I'm tired of waiting, complained Bobby, as he sat down beside Total on a huge dock hook, beside an unfurnished hearth that was thrown there as junk. Yeah, me too, agreed Total. Although I'm enjoying this sea breeze, it's chasing the mugginess out of the air. Sure is, said Bobby. Plus that ferry ride was pretty cool, looking at the open sea and all those beautiful islands we passed. Is your brain always thinking in vivid imagery? Asked Bobby. I think so. Nodded Total. Most of the time I turn on the HD channel. HDA, said Love, walking toward them and sitting down. Not many people have that high of a pixel rate. Must get lonely out there in loony land. Yes, but I do enjoy your brief visits. Countered Total. Sorry, we don't come there as often. It's a long trek to get there, sympathized Love. It's okay. I still appreciate the effort, said Total with a warm smile. Well, it's not the easiest place to visit, laughed Bobby. Takes a lot of mental work, or drugs, or the lees of a bottle, added Love, pulling his collar to breathe some life into his overheated body. It's easy, said Total, adjusting himself in his seat and wiping the rust off his beige shorts. You just have to pay attention to details. I mean, the stories and symbols and imagery are already there. It's just a matter of noticing it. Well, I don't think like that, said Love, looking toward the road for the bus. Sure you do. You and Bobby always notice the tiny little, stupid nuances I and others have and tease me about it. That's poetic vision. You just need to see those details in basic things like ferry rides and trees and islands, I guess, chuckled Bobby. But to us, it's like a teasing game that gets funnier and funnier as you do stupider and stupider things. It's not poetry. Far from it, agreed Love. Bobby laughed deeply and put his arm around Total. We could make fun of you all day, clearing your throat, spacing out while talking, shuffling through your bags for computer wires and books, added Love, shuffling through Total's bag in mimicry. Exactly. You just had a great description of my character. Most people wouldn't notice those things, said Total. Well, it's pretty easy with you. I'm sure most people notice, declared Bobby, pointing at the tzatziki sauce on his shirt. Now let's do it together, said Total, clicking his pen and opening the journal. Fuck that, responded Bobby. I'm too tired and agitated. We just had a boat ride for 8 hours and the boat staff kept waking us up. I know, said Love, turning quickly and looking at both of them. 20 other people were sleeping, and the security guard kept coming after us. Then those kids throwing peanuts at us. How immature, one of them landed right in my nose. I wish my PE students had that kind of aim, added Total. It's easy when you throw handful after handful. One of them is bound to hit a cavity, snickered Bobby. We are all bored, so let's try it, contended Total. I write some interesting shit when I'm tired and wired. I'm done, completely done, said Bobby. My levels have dropped below homostatics. My brain is shut off. I am tired, hungry, thirsty, and waiting for this oncoming bus. Basically very tired of waiting for this bus. There you go, that's poetry. Hungry and thirsty is an element called internal rhyme. Plus you catalogue the events that just happened. You're making that up, remarked Bobby. I'm just sick of moving all the time. He said, I just want to rest. It's crazy with all these planes, trains, automobiles, taxis, scooters, metros, trams. Scams and traffic jams, finished as he wrote furiously in the journal. Yes, 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 that's sick. You just let that roll off your tongue spontaneously. You even added alliteration. Let's finish it. We are the transportation. We are the ferry. We are the captains. We are en route. We have always arrived, rejoined Love, standing up and snapping his fingers. Good, good, said Total. Footwork running, stumbling, bumbling, and now my stomach is rumbling. Thoughts of the party to come, added Bobby, still but smiling. Yeah, said Total, still writing. Bookings, cookings, reservations, train stations, heart palpitations, works of creation, elation, patience. Chimed in Love, not missing a beat. Take a ride with us in our book of chapters. You won't regret it. You will settle in play, drink, eat, joke, and wish the clock didn't tick any faster. All the while dying of laughter, said Love, bursting out with laughter and grabbing Bobby by the shoulders. So join us on our trip, make a mark, write a chapter. You will remember us forever after. Not too bad, smiled Bobby, pushing Love away and wiping off his white V-neck shirt. It's not too bad for our first draft. Agreed Total. Now time to edit, edit, edit. No, chuckled Love, wiping his lips. We are far from that. We are just having fun, he added as he took a step back and looked at Total. Far from it? Inquired Bobby. You idiots did a Backstreet Boys lip-sync concert during lunch break in grade 12 trying to impress the girls. So what, defended Love? You were the security guard. You are no better. Being the security guard is much tougher and a lot less lame than being the singers and dancers. Singers are the stars, though, defended Love with his chin up. Stars get the girls. Security guards get the scraps. Either way, sounds pretty good, mate, said the blonde-haired boy with Wayfarer glasses on. Bobby, said Bobby, introducing himself to the new boys. I'm Connie from Melbourne, said the tan scruffy boy, shaking the boys' hands. I'm Whitey. I'm from Melbourne also. Nice to meet you guys, they said as they all shook hands. I guess we are heading to the Pink Palace together, said Connie as he grasped at his rucksack straps. Where are you from, asked Whitey. Canada, replied the boys in unison. Our Canada, eh? Maple syrup, forests, animals and hockey, said Connie. Yeah, that's us. Good profiling. Limited identity we have. But still unique, stated Total. Yeah, most Americans think we live in igloos, chuckled Bobby. So you are much more accurate, not to mention you are half a world away. As they introduced themselves, the Pink Palace shuttle bus pulled up. They all got their packs and climbed aboard. He nudged Bobby inconspicuously. Bobby smiled and yelled, Hey Total, we got a whole candy store in here for you. Giddy up, said Total, hopping up the stairs and taking his glasses off. Candy, eh, mate, said Connie. Whitey looked at Connie confused and whispered, Candy store? What the fuck are they talking about? Love overheard and said, It's okay, pallies. We kind of speak in our own language. Not many people can understand what we are saying. You will get used to it, said Bobby. I hope so, said Whitey with a chuckle. You guys are a good bunch of cunts. Cunts? Inquired Bobby, leaning forward and talking over the cool leather seat. Yeah, it's a word us Aussie boys use for our mates, answered Connie. But don't say it around girls, noted Whitey. They hate that word. Yeah, I can imagine why, added Love, raising his eyebrows. I've always wondered why they hate that word, inquired Total curiously. I mean, they all kinda refer to the same thing. Cunt, pussy, snatch, fluff, beef curtains, fag, vagina, muff and all that. Most girls think it's dirty. Pussy or vagina is better. I guess a cat is soft and cuddly, and the anatomical term is just correct, pronounced Love. Are you sure? Said Bobby. Yeah, maybe not, defended Love, crossing him's arms and ankles. I guess it's like toilet. We never use the word toilet. We always say washroom or bathroom. Toilet seems a bit dirty. All over Europe, I am noticing it says WC on all bathrooms. What the fuck does that mean? Questioned Total. Not sure. Wet cunt, added Connie. Haha. Nah, said Whitey. Washroom chamber, guessed Bobby. Yeah, maybe. That would make sense, said Love. The bus took off with a smell of exhaust and sea and rolled through the curvy, hilly roads of Corfu. Here we go again, chimed Love with a whistle. It was so alluring with the white rock, green trees and ocean blue background that the boys almost didn't hear the girls trying to make conversation with them. Where are you guys from? Said the curly-haired cutie. Canada, said Bobby immediately. We are from Montreal, answered her tanned friend with soft cheeks. Oh wow. We are surrounded by Canadians, said Connie. Better get our hockey sticks out. Yeah? Oh, Canada, said Bobby, pointing to a flag that was on his keychain. Gotta love it. Love frolicked quietly with a stunning young girl for the rest of the ride, while the boys made small talk with the rest. They arrived at the Pink Palace, which was situated on a steep slant, at the top of a hill that opened up to white limestone cliffs that ran down to a baby powder beach that segued into a turquoise clear sea. The palace itself was a campus of old Greek seaside buildings that were painted pink and some white. The surrounding mountains that flowed into the sea were scattered with other resorts and hotels that housed tourists from all over the world. They were all instructed to go into the main lobby. As they walked in the long rectangular hall, they saw a reception counter, small bar, tables, and a separate area for watching TV. A red-faced, blonde-haired, pear-shaped mate stood at the bar yapping and clanking away, in what sounded like a thick Aussie accent. Don't piss down and back and tell me it's raining, he said to the bartender, and dropped a glass that smashed to the ground. Bobby giggled and nudged Total, who in turn nudged Love. What are you looking at? The drunken Aussie slurred to Bobby. Not much, said Bobby with a big smile and a quick laugh. I hope I will have as much fun as you this week. Come here, and I'll drop kick you in da face, the drunk countered as he stared at Bobby out of one eye, leaning forward and teetering on the outsteps of his feet. Bobby laughed and kept walking and placed his backpack with the rest of the bags in the corner. The bartender cleaned up the Aussie's mess and then served him another drink. This seemed to distract him from Bobby. Bobby gazed at the lug as he attempted to pour the booze into his gully, spilling half of it on his sunburned man boobs. They followed the group into the lounge with couches, tables, and a big screen TV. The screen advertised highlight videos of surfing, toga parties, ATV, and booze cruises. The circular lacquered tables all had shot glasses lined up their edge. The shot glasses were filled unevenly, with spills around the rims of the cups which leaked in small sticky puddles on the table. As they all sat down and gathered around, a blonde, stalky woman with her hair pulled back and a T-shirt saying Pink Palace began to talk. Welcome to the Pink Palace, she announced in a raspy, confident voice. My name is Carol or Athena. I'm originally from America, but now live here in this legendary place. I can promise that you will have the time of your lives. There are beautiful beaches for tanning and swimming, booze cruises, ATV tours, mountain biking, toga parties, cross-dressing, plate smashing, and Greek dancing. Every night you will be served a traditional meal in the Palladium dining hall and experience a little of Greek history, followed by a celebration afterwards in the Hades hall below. Oh, yeah, mate, said Connie as he nudged Bobby. Tonight begins with a flip cup tournament. You can register your team at the front desk when you check into your rooms. The tournament will begin in the hall below the restaurant after a chicken and pasta dinner while you overlook the sun setting over the Mediterranean Sea. Flip cup, blurted Love, that's our specialty, he added, nodding at the boys confidently. This drink is called ouzo, and it's been dyed pink for obvious reasons, said Carol, grabbing hers and holding it high. Let's all begin this crazy stay with a cheers and chug. They all grabbed their glasses, clanked the clear cups, and gulped the boozo down, followed by a sour-faced grimace as they slammed down their glasses on the table. Black licorice, said Total with a gasp and choke as he bent forward smitten. Huh? Asked Bobby. Tastes like licorice. Like sambuca, replied Total without hesitation. Jah! I guess it's the Greek version, added Bobby as he wiped his mouth. Sweet. I can get used to this, joined Love, leering at the lees of his cup. Hey boys, said Bobby to the Aussies. Wanna be on our flip cup team? Of course, mates. Let's do this, said Connie and Whitey in unison. They walked down the steep steps that led to their cabins down by the beach. The lighting began to dim as they observed the hot tubs, courtyard and restaurants that looked out to the beach and sea. They were surrounded by short green shrubs that coated and spotted the undulating rock cuts sloping into the sea. It was Bacchus's palace. The campus led down to a bar on the beach with international bathing beauties enjoying the surf and breeze. The air was hot and moist, with a complimentary cool, gentle wind that swept away the thin layer of sweat from the heat. They opened the hostel door to an ice-cold air conditioner, cooling a narrow room with bunk beds and a bathroom. "Hey, love." "Shotgun on the bottom bunk," yelled Total. "You well, I got the other." "Other what?" remarked Bobby as he slipped into the other bed on the floor. "Ah shit, see him on, guys," whined Love as he dropped his bag, shoulders and lip. "You know, I hate the top bunk." Total and Bobby stared at each other and chuckled. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Love continued with his hands waving in the air, muttering to himself. "Smash my feet on the ladder. Steep over the railing. Forward. I almost caught my balls on a nail in the last hostel and hung myself." He continued with a whine in his voice. "You are too slow," howled Bobby mockingly. Your man added Total. "You were too busy looking at the getting ready station," teased Total. "Yeah, that's what you get for being a chick," added Bobby. "Fuck you guys. It's not my fault your sense of fashion sucks. Our fashion is fine," defended Bobby. "Well, mine is," he corrected as he looked over at Total, opening his backpack full of wrinkled clothes. "Me too," said Total. "Total, you go in there, with hair all over the place, pant waist too big, length too short and shirt too wrinkled," stated Love. "Bobby, you just copy my style, but more conservative." "You copy me, dumbass," said Bobby, totally flabbergasted. "You copy everything I do." Total nodded in agreement. Bobby continued. "Same shoes as me. Same hoodie. Same Jeep as me. Same glasses. Same hair. You can't make a decision at every supper, so you choose the same food as me. It's true, Love." "It's true," confirmed Total. Well, you still have the top bunk." "Good luck getting girls up there," Bobby said with a chuckle. Well, you haven't gotten a girl yet." "How gay is that?" noted Love as he threw his bags onto the top bunk. "I don't want to," said Bobby. "I have a girlfriend." "Exactly. You just keep talking to guys about sports and business," teased Love. "Really strange, my friend, really strange." Knock, knock. A voice said with a simultaneous knuckle to the wood. "You guys ready?" said Connie as the two Aussies entered the room. "Ready. Fuck, we just got in here," whined Love, taking his socks off and rubbing his dry feet as he lay down. "Do you guys always argue like this?" "You sound like an old married couple," said Connie. "Your mate, like golden girls," added Whitey. "It's our culture," said Total. "Helps trim the fat on the team." "Huh?" asked Whitey. "Well, we have to hurry. I heard there is a scramble for good seats, and we are starving." "Okay, hold on. We will be there in a sec," said Bobby, getting up from his bunk with a growl. "Get a seat and we will join you." The boys got ready and walked up to the restaurant. The stairs were done with Greek design painted pink, cracked and chipped, concrete with pillared rails. It led up to an open-air restaurant that looked past Parthenon-style pillars toward the sea that crashed into surrounding mountains. The setting sun was a perfect sphere that hovered above the horizon, as if held up by its own burning explosive energy, while the earth slowly rotated up toward it. It bathed the water and landscape in a cool light that added a romantic candle glow to the atmosphere. Love raced up the steps, tripped and fell on his hands with a smack. Fork. Stupid stairs. The stairs are all uneven. "What idiot designed this?" he murmured out loud as he picked himself up and wiped off his hands. Looking up, he saw a buff bouncer in a tight pink palace t-shirt staring at him with a stoic look and smirk while he chewed on a banana. Listen to him chewing like a loudspeaker being used blaring when he eats it with his dry white lips, which I don't know why it's there, maybe toothpaste, maybe not. The smacking loud get pronounced louder and louder. Fuck this. Love continued up the stairs and waited in line to get his ticket. He looked at another set of bouncers taking tickets. One bouncer taking the money and handing out the ticket, then the other bouncer a meter away taking and ripping it. Stupidest thing ever. You get a ticket to hand to a bouncer 2 steps away. What a waste of time and paper. Bouncers thinking they run the show. Push around hungry and drunk people thinking they are tough. Can't even talk to them. They are worse than teachers. All they talk about is bouncing. Look at him all cool chewing gum, fat stomach fat gum, making man noises, animal gurgly noises, grotesque gargoyle noises. Uncomfortableness or tired or deep sighs along with the smacking, chomping, chomping, chomping and subtle grunting. Really, can you hear what you are doing? It's actually really gross. Why do you think you have to make these sounds while smacking and chewing? All I can hear is how uncomfortable you are, or how uneasy you are. Fuck, like be normal. Love took the ticket, shook his head, and handed the ticket to the other bouncer, in complete disbelief and annoyance. Look how agitated he is, whispered Bobby to Total as they lurked behind him in line. Slow down, Pally. There is plenty of food for everyone. Intervened Total, putting his arm around Love's shoulder. Rather not be touched, said Love, shrugging him off. You know I can't go very long without eating. Yes, we do. That's why we are bugging you, laughed Bobby. Let's just get a seat before I snap, said Love, flaring his nostrils. The only seat available is at the end, said the bouncer. It has a beautiful view. Only 100 meters away. You can make it. The girls have a seat for us. Love thought to himself. Why does it have to be so far? Gotta trudge through this trough with this swine chomping away. Clink, 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 cruck, clink. Murmur, murmur, murmur. Salad on my shoe. Sticky with dressing. Animals at a trough. Look at that spread. It's a work of art. Chicken perfectly cooked, sprinkled with spice. Salad with basic oil and vinegar. Mashed potato. What if I just cut in line? No one will know. Love started to slip in the food line slyly, until a bouncer tapped his shoulder and pointed toward the table. I know, snapped Love in response. I was just looking. Well, look from your table and wait to be called, countered the bouncer with a glare. Thanks, tips, mumbled Love. Love thought to himself. So tough. I should take some MMA with Total and just kick his ass. Grab his jugular and steal all the food. All these animals stealing it and eating without manners. Food all over their faces. Food dropping into their chin, laps, tablecloth and plates. Staining the white. Kitchen staff has to clean that. They don't care. It's not their responsibility. Like children with gravy on their dirty, unwashed fingers from the railings and washroom knobs, sneezing on their hands. Food just dropped on the dirty table, wiped by a dirty rag in a once-over wipe by the stressed summer student staff. Now he's putting it into his mouth. Wonders why he's sick. Then he kisses my girls and gets them sick. Unbelievable. Hey, yelled Connie. We got a perfect seat. The boys had sat beside the group of girls from Quebec they had met on the bus. Just as they sat down, the meal had been placed in front of them. Chicken gently cooked with a variety of spices. Mashed potatoes smooth like a packed snowball. The salad contained big chunks of olives, tomatoes, onions, and fresh feta. It was coated in the perfect amount of oil, vinegar, salt, and pepper. The steam rose and carried a scent of chicken skin, oregano, and other unknown aromas. Wow, said Love, sitting down. I might have to go for thirds. Thirds? You haven't even had firsts. Or seconds, said one of the girls. Well, yeah, smirked Love, but look at this spread. Can't let it go to waste. He's a glutton, you know, said Total, looking at the girls. You wouldn't tell from his trim physique, but yay, he's a pig. I just love my food. What's wrong with that? Said Love, pausing, his hands hovering over the utensils. Love straddled his seat, spread his knees, postured up and eyed his meal. He flickered his fingers in anticipation, and then gently unravelled his utensils from the white napkin with the care of a surgeon. Love thought to himself. Total stopped his meal, looked at Bobby with a smile, who was also watching Love mingle with his meal, and leaned over to Whitey to say, Look how focused he is. Huh, replied Whitey with a mouthful of food. Yeah, he likes his food more than he loves the girls, he replied with a whisper and laugh. I know you're talking about me, said Love, not taking his attention away from eating. Worry about your own meals and let me enjoy mine. Total, Bobby and Whitey froze up, looked at each other and burst in laughter. They ate the meal, drank some tall beers, talked about general things and slowly got to know one another. As the sky darkened, they walked down the Pink Palace Palladium steps to be greeted by two handsome body-built bouncers. Welcome to the Palladium. Tonight we have a special lineup of events, said the strong-jawed, sculpture of a man that was at the gate. "What's on the agenda, Steve?" asked Bobby, looking closely at Steve's name tag. "Well, first we have a flip cup tournament, then Greek dance, then toga party." "Holy fuck." "Let's get started," said Total, rubbing his hands. The doorman asked their names and checked a list he had clipped to a clipboard. "I see you have a team registered for Flip Cup. You are short a few, so we will give you some Spanish boys. They say they are good. But let's see how good they are until they get drunk and rowdy," stated another bouncer who was a pudgy middle-aged man in a raspy voice. "That's where I come in and kick some ass," he added, staring at them through one eye, the other one covered by the fat under his brow. "You have a problem with the Spanish boys?" asked Love. "I have a problem with anyone who stirs up shit in my bar," he added with what sounded like a New York accent. "Oh, I see," said Love, looking at the boys in contempt. "I give any man 2 minutes with me, and they are dead, I tells ye. Dead," said the bouncer, with fists clenched and intensity in his dilated eyes. "Okay, dude. We will be on our best behavior," said Bobby while walking away and into the hall. Connie and Laz went to the flip cup table and assembled the team. Love stayed behind to talk to Steve, a bouncer, smiling and relaxing on a chair beside the tough guy. "Where you from?" asked Steve. "Toronto, Canada," said Steve. "Ah, yes, we know." "Well, we are not originally from Toronto. We are from Sudbury," said Love as he elbowed Total. "I know," defended Total. "But you have to start big, then go smaller." "Why didn't you start with the Earth then?" mocked Love. "Then you can go with the continent," joined in Steve. "Ha ha ha. Real funny guys," replied Total sarcastically. "The girls would love it." "Sure would," agreed Love. "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Total. I'm from the galaxy called the Milky Way, which houses sun number 186 678. I'm from the third planet that is the Golden Ox planet," he said in a nerdy, sarcastic voice. I'm sure the girls would just be ecstatic about it," mocked Steve, letting out more chuckles. "Where you from, Steve?" asked Love. "Well," Steve continued, counting on his fingers, "the same galaxy and solar system and planet and continent and country as you, I guess. But I'm from British Columbia. It's the most western province in Canada, eh? Okay, fellow Earthling, nice to meet you," added Total playfully, his eyes darting around with excitement. "Perfect. Enjoy your time tonight," finished Steve, shaking both of their hands. "If I get off early, I'll join you for a drink. Ciao. See you in there," said Love, smiling slightly and walking away. They walked into the long dance hall with long bars on one side, tables around the spacious dance floor, and foosball, pool and dart boards near the back. It had a dark lighting but was lit up by bright flashing fluorescent lights. Long tables were set up beside the DJ booth for the Flip Cup tournament. The hall smelt like floor cleaner, bar rags, beer and perfume. Total scanned the cool hall and saw Bobby at their designated table, drinking with the Spanish boys that seemed extremely enthusiastic. They walked toward the table, shook hands with the 2 new Spanish boys and introduced themselves. "How you play?" said the short-statured boy with a 5 o'clock shadow and dark, thick eyebrows. "You seen a relay race before?" asked Total. "Like in the Olympics," added Bobby. "See," he replied. "Basically," said Bobby, demonstrating as he spoke. "You put the cup on the table with some beer in it. Drink it as fast as you can." Joined Love. "Then," continued Bobby, "replace the cup on the table and try to flip it on its end without it falling off," added Total. Bobby shook his head at Total and pointed out a rule. "The person beside you drinks and flips when you have balanced your cup." Love furthered the rules. "The game continues until the whole team has their cups drank, flipped and steady on the table. The team with all their cups flipped and balanced first wins." Total demonstrated with the actual cups. "You give them the audio, I give them the visual. Perfect differentiated team instruction," said Total with a cheerful smirk. "Stop it." Bobby snarked in between his teeth. "Say those thoughts in your head. No one knows what you're talking about." Total held his grin and winked at Bobby. "See, sounds easy, man," said Ricardo, one of the Spanish boys. "Yeah, it sure is. Let's give it a few practice runs," said Bobby. The Spaniards went on to practice flipping over and over again. Ricardo was perfect, but Miguel couldn't quite get it. Here, try this, said Bobby. He began to wet the landing area on the table with some beer. Miguel flipped it up. It hit the brim and safely landed circly square and true. Wow, said Miguel in astonishment. Magic, ja. The beer's surface tension helps the cup land softly with less bounce and more cushion, increasing the probability of unbalance, stated Total. Huh, replied Ricardo, leaning forward to listen to Total's jargon. In your head, Total, whispered Bobby, elbowing Total. Think of it as getting the girl wet before you stick it in, said Whitey as he practiced flipping his cup, adding a yelp dance and a spin each time it landed. They all laughed and pushed each other. Your nice metaphor, added Total, always thinking about sex. A true man. The other team began to line up across from them, ready to start. The DJ announced the start, the Trojan Horses vs the Greek gods. Are we the Trojan Horses, asked Love. Sure, of course, mate, replied Connie. The Greek god sounds like a bunch of shaved cunts. The Trojan Horses lined up the team strategically from sprinter to anchor and placed their glasses delicately on the table. Here we go, coached Bobby. The team wiped their hands in anticipation and bent over the table in a ready position, waiting for the DJ's starter gun. Ready, bang, screamed the keyboard siren. Let's go, screamed Love. Just like that, and in a harmonious synchronized streak, the mixed Trojan team from Aussie, Canada and Spain annihilated the competition with few errors or mishaps. Game number 2, they won again, with the Spaniards being anchor and the quickest. Game number 3 was the same. Winning one. The more they played, the louder, more slurred and stumbled they became. Drink after spilled drink began to flow onto their clothes, table and floor, creating sticky shoes. They became louder, more belligerent and overconfident. Who's next? Yelled Bobby, raising his arms in the air after chugging the leftover beer. Nobody can beat us. No one. The next team lined up across from them. It was the Persian and French girls from Quebec, led by 2 gaudy guys. The opposing team docked up to the port, puffing their feathers and sails, ready to fight the sailing mariners that were cruising to victory. Look at this douchebag Total, said Love with an elbow. He has a headband on, curly hair flowing out the sides, bandana around his wrist and tight jeans tucked into his high tops. Dear, what a prick, added Bobby. Listen to them, talking in clichés, trying to impress the girls. Good God, said Love. Their ship's captain has brutal fashion. Look at his sidekick, added Total, just following his lead. Nodding yes to every word, laughing at every joke. God, they are lame, stated Bobby. He's trying way too hard, added Love. Are you jealous? Asked Total. Nope, said Love. You know I will outlast them. They will get drunk, do something creepy, rock the boat. Then the girls will hop on my shiny ship. Let's beat them first, said Bobby. We have toiled and fought too hard to even let the thought of them succeed enter our heads. Ready, said the DJ from his crow's nest. Set. They all crouched and held their hands around the cup. Go. The game entered the flow state and became a blur. Glug, 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 slam, flip, settle, set. Glug, 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 slam, flip, settle, set. Glug, glug, flip, slam, settle, settle, set. Glug, glug, slam, flip, settle, set. Glug, 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 slam, flip, fumble, flip, fumble, flip, fumble, 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 fuck, flip, settle, twirl, rock, rock, set. Drink, slam, flip, settle, set. And the winner, screamed the DJ from his foghorn, is the Trojan Horses. Woo-oh. Woo-whoa, yelled Bobby, jumping up and down as he picked up the Spanish boys, hugged them and twirled them around. No one can beat us. No one. Ha ha ha. Connie and Whitey put their arms around each other, drank the beer left on the table and hugged the team. Love and Total started shaking hands with the other team and then mingling with the girls. They team continued the party, while all the guys and girls got together and the Aussies bought shot after shot after shot after shot. Sambuca, tequila, vodka and Jägermeister. The chatter became nonsense, heat began to rise, and the room tilted and turned. They watched the staff perform Greek dances, traditional, theatric-themed stories of Olympics, looking like martial artists spinning and kicking the air in unison. Fancy, striped puffy pants hiding their boots with vests over shirts and clean-cut hairstyles, both bald and curly. Nick and Nicholas, Athena, Eleni, Elena and George, George and George. Strong, clean-cut, handsome jawed dancers and ballerinas and smashing and clapping and chanting. Hey and ho and hey hey ho. Twirling around, linking arms and smiling all the while. Plates were cracked over heads, ouzo shots drank, and old Greek songs and myths told. Where did Connie go? Asked Total, interrupting Love and his conversation with Marie. Connie was gone before 12, answered Love. Really? Said Total, slowly surprised, as he took another drink. Yeah, he was talking to Natalia and just slipped away, said Love with a smile. Wow. I guess he won the early bird challenge, added Total with disappointment. Early bird challenge? What's that? Asked Love curiously. I don't know, replied Total. I just made it up. You know how the early bird gets the worm? Laughed Love. Well, looks like Connie's early worm got the bird, said Total, laughing at his own joke. Ha, he sure did, said Love, laughing, as he took a drink of his beer. That boy has some sick, slick skill. He sure does, Pally. He sure does, agreed Total. Where is your girl? Asked Love, looking around for the girl Total was talking to. My girl is with that guy, replied Total, pointing toward the bar. Damn, your arch rival got her, eh? Said Love with disappointment. You noticed, eh? Said Total sadly. The beer pong guy. The trendy Greek god. She's definitely exotic, said Love, titling his head. I was talking to her earlier. Now she's talking with that other guy, said Total with a slur is his words. Yup. The winds brought another sailor in, added Love. Probably trying to make me jealous, retorted Total with a quick exhalation of the nostrils. Jealous? Asked Love, looking confused. Yeah, man. She already kissed me after she asked me to dance. I didn't do anything. It just happened. Kissed like Steamy make out kissed? Or quick on the lips kiss? Asked Love, staring intensely at Total's expression and answer. Total hesitated, swallowed and said, on the cheek. Helene looked at Love, giggled and said, cute kiss like a little brother. Come on, Total. You can't win them all, added Love. Yes, said Helene as she grabbed Love's venial biceps that stretched out his sleeves. There is a whole palladium of goddess for you, Total. From sea to sea. Mermaids and chiseled angels and beach bunnies. That's true, said Total with a little rise to his mast. But I crushed on her first. Don't fall for the songs of the sirens, she added. Sing your own. She rapped and laughed. Helene then leaned gently against Love's tan chest that took shape and bulged through his light cotton V-neck shirt. Her face, staring up at his, had a rose-shiny hue which glowed through her naturally light brown skin. Her features were soft and fresh. Curly dark hair matched her dark brown eyes, bouncing and dangling against his body. Her white teeth shone brightly as her wide smile lingered the entire time. She seemed to melt into him and followed his every emotion, movement and utterance. He leaned against the bar with one elbow drink in the opposite hand as the ice clinked the glass and melted. His chin raised high in the air, scanning the bar for more eye contact from other glaring eyes. She looked comfortable in his breast, and he looked comfortable having her there. It's so nice to meet you. She whispered in his ear and pressed her palm on his chest. Nice to meet me, he asked in return. Yes, aren't you glad we met? She asked, staring at him with those deep eyes. Of course, he said with a sly smile. I love that you're in my story, she said as she leaned toward him with a slow, soft kiss. Me too, he whispered back after they parted lips. Guys, whispered Total a foot away. Should I go talk with her again? Go talk to her. Keep flooding the gas if you haven't already, said Love sarcastically. Total went to talk to the girl with a big smile on his face as he walked up. Curly-haired Achilles brushed him off and bought her a shot. Total took another angle to talk again, but she shrugged him off with small talk and a closed body. Total thought to himself, shit, what happened in the last 10 minutes? Played like a flute. I'm out. Embarrassing. Total quickly turned around to make his way back to where Love was. But standing there now was Bobby and Whitey. Where did Love go? Total asked as he approached them. What do you mean? Asked Bobby sarcastically. He's falling in love with that girl. Oh wow, that happened fast, noted Total. What happened to your girl? Inquired Whitey. Lost out to that guy. Guess so. Not too sure what happened. Well, you're the person always studying human psychology and relationships. Ask yourself, said Bobby. Well, said Total, looking up to the lights in the ceiling. I would say I pushed too hard and flooded the gas. Well, sometimes, continued Bobby, the only thing a girl's wants is to know that we want them or her. Total look at Bobby intrigued as he continued. That's their version of sex. Us as men just wanting them, said Bobby, laughing at his own epiphany. So what you guys are saying is, said Total, gesturing with his glass. Some of them just need for us to be attracted, and then they are done. Load blown? Yes. Fucked up, isn't it? Noted Bobby, putting his hand around Total's shoulder. That's some pretty good insight, said Total, smiling. You got to buy 'em shots, said Whitey. That's the key. Shots? Asked Bobby curiously. Your mate, said Whitey. Shots is key, baby. Then it's a party and everything just happens naturally. Watch. You guys just watch. Take a look, you lovely cunts. Whitey turned to the girls next to them, slurred a conversation, and bought them shooter after shooter. Total and Bobby started talking and joking playfully until the girls were interested and laughing. Whitey smiled, stood up straight, took one more shot and started running. He ran as fast as he could toward the door, took his shirt off and screamed. To the beach. To the beak mates. Tu the biatch, his voice getting louder and longer the faster he ran into the dark. Bobby and Total said good night to the girls and walked out the door. This is shit, said Total. I thought I loved that girl. She loved Achilles. Haha, yay, let's take the next flight out of here and give up, said Bobby sarcastically as he rubbed Total's hair. Must be an airport on this island. This place is shit, I tells ya. Poop and shit, yelled Total at an empty sky. Shit? You saying my place is shit? Come on, I'll smack you upside the head, said the large bouncer with his New York accent, looking at them through one eye his other, now droopier than before. Total turned his head, backed away and sobered up instantly. Oh yeah, you're the guy that can knock anyone out in 2 minutes, stated Total. Sure am, said the bouncer, walking closer to Total. You don't believe me? Son of a Navy SEAL caption. Marine myself. Straight from the mean streets of Brooklyn and state prisons. Bounced at bars all over the world. Nicky Sykes is the name. Who the fuck are you? I'm a nobody really, confirmed Total as he quickly looked over at Bobby. Nobody, eh? Said Nicky, darting his eye at both of them and foaming at the mouth. Well then, because you're a nobody, I'll kick your friend's ass first, and then yours last. Total stepped back and to the left, away from Bobby, at another angle and said, Well, with all due respect, sir, I'm sure you're a great fighter and real tough, but I personally believe 99 times out of 100 you couldn't knock me out in 2 minutes. Your man, this guy trained in Canada, Korea, Japan, China and Thailand. He has 3 pink belts in Kung Fu and a red belt in Kung Pao, said Bobby, stepping back and to the right. Oh, really tough guy. Let's put your money where your mouth is, said Nicky, as he put his fists toward his chest, took a wider squared-off stance and flared his nostrils. No, no, no. I'm not interested in fighting at this late hour. But I would love to spar and train tomorrow if you have some equipment, said Total, very relaxed, pronounced, and with full eye contact. Tomorrow? What's wrong with right now? Scared? Asked Nicky, easing up a little at Total's passive statement. Not at all, replied Total. It's just not as fun when you're drunk. I can tell you have trained in some boxing and have done a lot of freestyle street fighting. I would love to hold the pads for you and spar after we can work on some stuff. What holes do you see in me now? He said as he clenched his fists and bounced on his toes, as a boxer would do to relax himself. None. I'm too drunk, laughed Total. You would smoke me with ease. All I need is to get you with one psycho punch, said Nicky, winding up his fist. I'll see red and consume you and your chubby friend. Oh, definitely, agreed Total. We would be dead. Wouldn't last one punch, grunted Nicky. The wind from my punch would blow you over. It sure would, say Total, reaching on the table for a fresh beer. Keep talking the talk, son, taunted Nicky. Ain't gonna save ya. You may have studied the game, pal, but can you perform? Probably not now, said Total, stopping dead with a laugh. I'm too drunk. So let's just say you beat me up and I buy you a drink. Fair. Then you can focus on being the security guard for all those young punks that are stirring up trouble in the bar. Deal, said Nicky with a chuckle. I drink mythos. He adjusted his shirt with nervous confidence. Total walked toward him from the side and shook hands and handed him the beer. Smash! Screech! Loud sounds of glass breaking and chairs grinding the dance floor came from the Palladium Hall. Woo-woo! All of their heads turned toward the door and saw people racing in the Palladium Hall, and a bunch of bodies rushing together with fist on faces, hands grabbing shirts, and gangly legs kicking. Nicky stormed in the room with a stalky walk, his arms spread away from his body, fists clenched like a rhino bull ready to stomp, his anger released in a lion's roar. Any fucking punks who want to mess up my party in my bar are gonna die. I dare you to continue. Come here. Come here, he growled, pushing chairs and tables and whatever else was in his way. Holy shit, said Bobby. Come here, he belted, scattering the hyenas like a lion roaring across the plains. Slap. Nicky hit the biggest one he saw. Palm to check, square and flat. Slap, slap, slap. He took out 3 others that challenged him. He continued to clear out the bar and hallway and steps with roar after roar and slap after slap. Holy fuck. He cleaned house, said Bobby in amazement. Yeah, he pounded everyone. Agreed Total, equally amazed. You still sure you could have taken him? Asked Bobby. Anyone want any more of this, Nicky? Announced the crowd, now running up the hill in their rooms and scattering toward the beach. Oh, 100%, said Total. Gotta have confidence. Love took Helene down the stairs to the hostel room, which was cooled to a frigid chill. He led her up to his top bunk. They laid down with nervous smiles, then locked together in a comfy embrace, kissing and talking. They talked about their hobbies, likes, dislikes, and quirks. They talked about his family and hers. How she was close to her sisters and parents and cousins, and how he was even closer to his. How he lost his father, and she lost her grandparents, how he had never met someone so pure and unique, and how she had never connected to someone so deeply and powerfully. How his lips and kiss melted her, and how it tingled him down through his chest, knees, and heels. How her skin was soft as marble, how his body was so sultry and flinty. How the air felt cold against her skin, how his hand was warmed by her body. How her hand felt good around his neck and running through his hair. How his hand was tingling down and in. Stop, stop, stop. I can do this, she gushed, and pulled away now, unlocking the embrace and laying alone, her arms and curly hair spread out over the bed. Her jeans splayed open, exposing her flowery, silk-white panties against her tanned skin. A treasure trail of peach fuzz leading up to her supple stomach. It's okay, reassured Love. We can just lay and cuddle. Thanks for understanding, said Helene, now relieved. You are so sweet. So are you, replied Love, as he lay beside her, his hands on his forehead. They both panted in rhythm, their abdomens rising and falling like a sail, slowly, losing its shape in the wind, approaching the shore. So did you get her? Asked Bobby toward Love. Fuck man. Not so loud. She just left. She's out the door, argued Bobby. Besides, this air conditioner will drown out any noise. Or freeze the words like icicles before they get to the door, joked Total. Suo, repeated Bobby, rolling over and holding his pillow in anticipation. You guys dating now? Hot and heavy? Love hesitated, rolled over, with his hand covering his eyes and mouth, and said, well, she said she was a virgin. Virgin? Asked Total, who was now bouncing on the top bunk. Yeah, and she wanted to wait, said Love, taking a deep breath. I don't mind that. I'm not pushing her to do anything. Come on, said Bobby. Haven't you learned yet? Learned what? Asked Love, all surprised. Why would she lie? Come on, man. We all lie. It's our human nature, said Bobby. Guys feed girls lines and girls feed guys lines. Lectured Bobby. Come on, Love, all these years and you haven't figured this out. Yeah, Love. Lines, added Total, ganging up on Love. Lines? Like what lines? What in the fuck are you talking about? How many times have you taken home a girl in a one-night stand or early in a relationship, and she turns to you and says, I'm never like this? This is so rare. I can't believe I'm doing this, said Total in his best female voice. Well, I guess I have heard it a few times, but not all girls are giving lines Total defended Love. Maybe I am just good at choosing the pure and decent ones. That's very true, agreed Bobby. There are innocent girls out there. But don't you find it suspicious that every girl you choose seems to just have finished a relationship and apparently has never went home with a guy for one night? Yeah, I'm a lucky guy. I get the rare ones. That's why I'm Love, said Love, laughing at his own joke. Do you though? Said Total, hanging over the top bunk and staring at Love. Or is she just feeding you a line? This is ridiculous, said Love, rolling over in his bed and burying his head in his pillow. We are just tired of hearing these girls feed you the same lines and take advantage of you, pal, said Bobby in an empathetic tone. How is she taking advantage of me? Chuckled Love again. She's done this before, but she doesn't want you to know that, argued Bobby, just like you don't want her to know that you have been picking up girls also. I'm not lying, said Love. I just don't say anything. She's doing the same thing. Why do you think you keep telling us the same stories over and over again? This is where we got this theory. We watch you and study. Like a guinea pig, added Total. Guinea pig with what experiment? Asked Love, muffled through his pillow. Relationships, human psychology, sex differences. Whatever, listed Total. In the end, females pin us men as the players, but they are extremely clever too, stated Bobby. But their game is more subtle. Do you think that you're the only special guy in Europe that she chose to be with? Asked Total. Yeah, I do, answered Love with a laugh. So naive. Why do you keep telling us the same story over and over again? Argued Bobby. The girls keep giving you the same lines, said Total. Yeah, man, we could make a t-shirt, joked Bobby. You guys are fucking meatballs, said Love with annoyance. What lines? What story? Well, I'm glad you asked, said Total. We have summed a list up late last night at the beach while you locked us out of the room. Summed what up? Asked Love. The most common lines we have heard from you, said Total. And others like you, added Bobby. What are these so-called lines? Asked Love, making the air quotes sign with his fingers. Here they are in no apparent order, said Total, counting on his fingers. 1. Just broke up with my boyfriend, rejoined Bobby. 2. I'm not usually like this, or I've never done this before, said Total, looking at Bobby for confirmation. 3. Total continued. I told myself and my friends I wouldn't go home with you, but 4. I've only slept with like 3 guys. Finished Bobby as they both burst out with laughter, followed by Love chuckling along. Well, they're not all sluts, Total, repeated Love. I know. I don't think any of them are sluts. I think they are all Athenas and Helens and Cleopatras. All intelligent and radiant and beautiful. That's why I think about them all day. They are a magnificent majestic. I'm pretty sure other jealous females made up the word slut or whore. Not men. We do think and talk about them a lot, agreed Love. Women always have men around them. Men are aggressive by nature. I bet on Facebook and in dating sites they have about 20 men messaging them at once. Men hunt and gather and women select, because they can select. Women are more attractive and organized and seductive. They dress better, are more matured and develop earlier. Okay, so that still doesn't mean they sleep with all of these guys that are chasing them, defended Love. No, but they must have been attracted to some, added Bobby. And there must have been an occasion in which they were together, that they slipped up. Maybe she was feeling extra sensual that night, or it was a hormone swing of the month, or she just got too drunk. Not to mention if the man has some moves, or has dressed well, or made her jealous, added Total. But what Love? Every sexually interested human has at least 4 people in their attractive web at all times. 4 people? What is this, a porno? Inquired Love. No, dude, listen, said Total, counting on his fingers again. They have themselves, a man they desire and can't get. A man that desires them, but they don't want. And the man they are with who may be any of the above. Oh wow, that's too deep, said Love, rubbing his feet. You guys really had a philosophical moment out there on the beach together. Good old Socrates and Aristotle. Not to mention the bonus man, said Total. The bonus man, joined Bobby. Shut up, Bobby. You have no idea what he's talking about either, said Love. No, I don't, but it's so fun, laughed Bobby. I can't wait to hear about the bonus man. Now there is a bonus man, questioned Love, now rubbing the sweat from his brow and blocking the blinding light. The bonus man is the man of the hour. The James Bond. Jason Bourne's slick, smooth, handsome man of mystery who just shows up out of the blue, that happens to be her friend's cousin, the band member, the new co-worker, or a tourist. So me, said Love, pointing at himself. To you, agreed Total. Or the guy that stole your girl last night, teased Bobby, pointing at Total and winking at Love. Him too, admitted Total, his voice dropping. Bonus guy got you, added Love. You got a lot of people, you see, noted Total. Oh boy, said Love, putting the pillow over his face. Now can you tell me, after all these MSN chats, Facebook pokes, Skype calls, phone calls, emails, bar nights, dinners, walks on the beach, movies seen and random encounters, she has only slipped up 3 times. Well, now that you put it that way, said Love, cocking his head side to side. Yeah, Love, it's just probability. It's just a matter of time before they get to 5, then 10. Then they stop counting, joined Bobby. They use excuses like, well, it only lasted for 3 minutes, so it didn't count. Or I was too drunk to remember, said Total. Or we used a condom, so we didn't technically touch. Ha! Or we have been friends forever, sir. I know you guys are just fucking with me, complained Love. Enough's enough. You may be, but it's just so fun, said Bobby, throwing his pillow at him. Fuck off. I hate you guys, cried Love, his head splitting in two. Corfu Eve, Greece. Total woke up to the blaring radio on an empty channel. Shushing. Images of jagged pointy waves, monkey screeches, ambulance horns and alien ray guns merging with his dreams. He smacked the alarm clock with his palm and knocked it off the dresser, smashing it to the ground. He rolled over, picked it up and examined it for damage. He sat down and stared at the numbers or lack of numbers. He thought to himself, 7 possible bulbs lit and unlit. All the possibilities there waiting for their signal to ignite, illuminate to tell the designated time in the specific zone relative to the user. He plugged it back in, left it flashing and scanned the room. What the fuck are you doing? Stop zipping and hovering over me, said Love in a stern, muffled mumble. For fuck's sakes, relax, he added through the small space that was in between his head and the pillow. I'm trying to sleep. I'm looking for some Tylenol and vitamins, answered Total. Pretty much anything that will fix your hangover, finished Love. Yah, I'm bad. We got to get on that booze cruise soon, and I have to get my levels up. The alarm just went off, and I think it leaves soon. I'm not sure I can survive in that heat. Yeah, you can, said Love. It's a booze cruise. Girls everywhere in bikinis about to get topless, free beer and fun cigarettes. Blue water beaches and bat caves. Sex on the stern of the boat. Fuck, dude, it's a must-see. Now stop shuffling things around and let me get 10 more minutes of shut-eye. Fuck it. I'm hitting the cold shower, then getting some bananas at the market, said a frustrated Total as he threw the suitcase cover closed and headed for the door. Perfect, said Love with a cough. Too bad you won't have time for the market. Huh? No time? What do you mean, no time? Asked Total as he stopped in his tracks. Well, said Love, tossing the other way. It's at least a 15-minute walk to the store. Then you have to come back and get shit ready. You can't do both. Shit, that's true, said Total, rubbing his hand through his hair. Might as well run down there and then hop in the water for a shower. Advised Love. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Yay, that makes sense, said Total, his hand on his hip, another hand on the door. Good thinking for being half asleep. Shit, I better go, said Total as the door slammed and opened again. I forgot my wallet. As Total ran back in, he shook Bobby as hard as he could, squeaking the bed and rippling his body. What the fuck is wrong with you? Said Bobby in a slow, angry voice as he peeled his eyes from the deep, snoring sleep he was in. Hey, Bobby. Got to go quick to get potassium and H20. Can I use your sandals for the booze cruise? It leaves in 15 minutes. Fine. But if you ruin 'em, you buy 'em, instructed Bobby out of one eye, his head falling back to the pillow after saying it. You sure? Want anything at the store? Asked Total, stopping at the door. No, I'm fine. "'Kay, later." Total raced down the beach toward the market as a herd of some guys and mostly girls lined up from the restaurant patio to the beach to the water and into the pirate-like junk boat wading in the shore. People sat and laid on their chairs, sunbathing under the rising sun, with kayakers floating in the low waters. "Oh fuck, I can't miss this." "Hey Total, where you going?" said Connie on his way by. "Store. See you soon." "Need anything?" "Nope," replied Connie. "We can't go. We made a mistake and booked it for tomorrow." "Ah, shitty." "See you tonight then at the party." "You mate." "See you tonight," said Connie, giving him the surfer's hand. Total ran down the beach as fast and hard as he could, but felt as if he were on a sandy treadmill, and the market was a mirage. He was about 15 feet away when he realized it was closed. He bent over, breathing heavily, and he felt the sweat bead from his body and heart almost beat out of his chest. He turned around and raced back to the boat, sliding across the sand as it got into his sandals and in between his toes to where he met with Bobby and Love. "Any luck?" asked Bobby. "Zero," Total said, panting with a worried look in his eyes. "I'm going to die on that boat. Maybe I shouldn't go." "Well, you're an idiot if you don't come," said Bobby, chuckling at the sheer look of Total. "Are you kidding me?" said the tall, blonde-haired, crooked-toothed dude carrying life jackets. "I've worked this tour for the past 5 years, and I have never seen a girl-to-guy ratio like this. I think a tour of about 25 American girls right out of university signed up for this cruise. Can't miss this one," he said, shaking his head. "If you do, it's your funeral." "Ah, fuck." "It's my funeral either way," argued Total, now standing up. "Hunger at the hostel or hungover on the cruise?" Total looked down to see the sandals getting splashed by the waves, full of muck and seaweed. "Since when did you think that running with your fat feet in my leather sandals, then wading in the salt water was a good idea?" said Bobby, looking at him, and then Love. Love just shook his head. "Look at them," said Bobby, disappointed and pointing at the brown sandals in the water. "They are all stretched now. On top of that, they will have salt stains forever. Just not thinking, eh, bud? You know the deal. Break 'em, you buy 'em." "Oh shit, Manny, sorry. I was just," mumbled Total, bowing. "Never mind, just get on the boat," said Bobby, pointing at the vessel. Total started taking off the sandals to walk toward the boat. "Don't take them off now," said Love with a chuckle. "They are already pooched. Look at them. They are so stretched your feet are falling out. Well, if they dry, they should shrink again," noted Total. "Doesn't matter to me," said Bobby, climbing on the ship. "They are yours now." The boys followed the pack onto the boat as the guide pulled them up one by one. Total chose to climb by himself like a pirate hopping onto a merchant ship. "I don't need a hand," said Total with a grunt. "It's an easy climb." Our vessel was a modest 30-footer, trimmed with a red stripe and topped with a white mast in a cross formation. Speakers dotted the cabin, a wooden structure taking up the boat's rear, complete with a bar and cooler. At the helm, Captain George commanded with ease, a tanned 45-year-old Greek, sporting sea blue shorts and a notable beard. "That guy's driving the boat?" asked Bobby sarcastically. "Yeah, he looks drunk already," said Total. "Hey man, that guy's a legend. Go take a look at the pictures he has in his cabin," said the guide that was helping them on the ship. Total and Bobby walked toward the cabin and asked if they could come in. "Of course," said Captain George. "You want to see party pics? We have many drinks, many laughs, many naked girls. Fun, fun time. Oh boy, glad I came on this boat," said Total as he looked and marveled at the collage of old Polaroid party pics that were loosely and randomly hung on the wall, the color faded from the sun and salt water, and the corners curled from the humidity. "Imagine this was your job all summer," whispered Total as he scanned the pictures. "You're what a life," added Bobby. "Can't believe he gets paid for this." The boys went outside the cabin as the ship's motor started to purr and propel them deeper into the Mediterranean, the gas fumes stinging the nostrils. A speaker crackled and blared with a muffled voice that was held too close to the microphone. "Welcome to Captain George's booze cruise. I am the captain, and I will make sure you have all of the fun." He put down the microphone as the crowd cheered. The captain continued. Today we will see cliffs, caves, private sexy beaches and sexy naked bodies. Now keep those your bodies inside the boat so you will be safe. Beers are in the bar and they are €1. They are cold and fresh. Please enjoy. And always remember, if you get naked, you will get free beer. No naked, no beer. Ho ho ho, Captain George is quite the character, said Bobby, who started to dance to the beats that were blaring from the speaker. Looky here, said Love. Bronze bodies, blondes and brunettes, sexy shades and tons of booze. Holy, what a day, he continued, with a huge smile and spin of the hips. Wow, quite poetic, Love. You get good when thinking of girls. Hopefully I can stay alive for more of your lines. Now give me some water, snapped Total with a slight panic. I need to get out of this sun. Fuck, you're a pussy. Grab a beer and get into this party, ordered Bobby. No, 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 said Total, shaking his hand rapidly in front of his body. No more booze. I was feeling the waves before we even got on the boat. My blood pressure must be sky high. Hey, look at that, blurted out Bobby, pointing at the back of the boat. Your girl is on this cruise with all of her crew. My girl, asked Love. Why is she my girl? 'Cause you were with her last night, opening your heart and pants to her. Yes, Love. That's the rules, added Total, as he slapped Love's triceps and walked toward the back of the boat. Whatever, mumbled Love, who continued to dance to the David Guetta tunes that were blasting. Bobby and Love went to the front of the boat and began to talk with the film crew of 2 Americans that happened to be on the cruise. Total quickly excused and pushed his way through the crowd, went to the back of the boat behind the cabin and sat by himself, staring at the wake of the boat, hoping for some relief. Total thought to himself, overwhelmed by stimulation. Too much information and sunlight leading to dehydration and agitation. I remind myself never to do this again, yet here I am, repeating the cycle. Breath. Calm the cortisol. Vagus nerve engagement helps. It's incredibly hot. Heart rate and pressure too high. Considering seeking a nurse or doctor, but I realize I'm on a booze cruise, not a medical convention. It's all young people looking to enjoy life while I'm panicking, but it's all in my head. Focus on the breath, life in every inhalation. Recite prayers, feel the beads on my bracelet. Heaven is here on earth, the beauty of Apollo's light on the water. Commanding myself to regain composure. Admire the boat's wake, the elegance of water physics. Waves forming a mesmerizing pattern, a reminder of nature's formless energy. The sea's beauty gives me peace. Total flowed with the anxiety and wrote furiously. Tidal pulls sweep across the atlas. The solar warmth activates the storm. Rushing swells and bobbing bobbers. The threshold now broke. The lone board floats at glow. Waits patiently. A shark at bay. Spots a burp and giggle 100 meters away. Paddles. Aligns, yields, melds. Allows the force to lift stand. His wake swallowed by the wave. Aligned along the float. Abreast. Cutting along under the swell. Alone in a tunnel. Petting the face. A love affair with a banzai wave. Floating, flying, soaring away. Misty myths and rainbow days. Falling into bubbles and splashes. Corals and beaches. Into the riptide. The wake of life. The orange and yellow and red glow. Now, low, low in the sky. A school of surfers waiting for the ride. Floating on the horizon till nigh. A shadow rubs and scrubs. Wax across the board. While the moon wanes the tides. Total. And not bad. That's better. Beautiful. Get up and walk around. Walk off the adrenaline. Phew. Coming down. Total stood up, felt the rocking of the boat, gained his balance and peeked around the corner. Hello, said a gorgeous, dirty, blonde-haired girl, who was walking toward him quickly, beer in hand, and with a huge smile on her face. Hello, said Total, attempting to stand up straight. Is that where the loo is? She asked with a bright, curious smile. Loop? Asked Total, confused. Like a wolf. No, a toilet. She repeated. Bathroom, washroom, water closet. All at once. Oh, yeah, I guess so, said Total in confusion. I didn't know it was called that, in lieu of all my bathroom experience. Okay, cool. Lesson 1 of the day, she said, smiling. Lesson 1. He repeated under his breath. Are you okay? You look seasick, she asked with an empathetic droop of the lip. You're well. I'm really hungover, and I was just trying to gather myself, said Total, rubbing his hair and shaking his head. Aren't we all? She giggled, causing the head of curls to bounce and blow in the wind. Have another beer. Bite the dog that bit you back. Yeah, maybe later, he said in a low voice. But I don't know if my stomach can handle it. I've bit the dog back too many times. Ah well, suit yourself. It's your funeral, she said, taking a sip of her beer and forcing a smile. I'm struggling, he said, sitting back down. Have something to eat, she suggested as she went into the loo. Market was closed, he said, looking away, out toward the waves and landscape. Ah yay, fair play, she said, continuing with her washroom duties. Fair play? Asked Total, confused again. Yeah, like, it's all good or cool. You never heard of that British expression? No, never, he said, still looking out toward the wake and trying to balance himself against the waves. Well, you've just been educated, my dear, she said as she girl finished her duties and grabbed her drink. Well, I suggest you find a toilet, she said before walking into the crowd. Lesson 3 in language. Total turned around to see her disappear into the crowd. He began to walk toward the party of people along the side of the boat under the canopy, forcing a proud smile to appear to be okay as he walked by. He saw Bobby and Love talking to a group in the front. Beside him, the 2 American filmmakers were with a blonde and brunette, while their camera equipment lay against the boat wall, the sun reflecting in the lenses. That stuff's expensive. It's going to fall and break. Risky at the edge of the boat. Hey guys, what's the movie about? Asked Total randomly and awkwardly interrupting the makeout. Huh, the older one said as he slowly peeled his lips from the deep kiss. They all laughed, got up and went out the door toward reception. Total now felt a pang of anxiety and dizziness from the hangover and decided to sit down. He saw the sun rise over the sea and sat on the steps. He pulled out a pen to record in the journal, an intense inspiration. The boat was docked and waiting. The booze cruise was ready. The captain was on the bow. You guys look like you're making a movie, clarified Total. They both looked at each other with a smile. Then the shorter one answered. Well, it's a documentary about our trip in the Mediterranean, he stated as he scratched his scruff, poking out of his red face. Documentary, eh? Said Total, expressing interest. Yeah, we have a great theme and setting here, he said, and then adjusted his black mesh hat pulled over his sharp baby blue eyes. Cool. Make sure to blur me out, said Total with an exasperated laugh. Don't worry about it. You're not doing anything movie-worthy, said the younger one with a tired, raspy voice, causing them all to laugh. I guess not, said Total, lowering his head and breathing out a sigh. What's your name? Asked one of the girls. Emma Nobody, I guess, joked Total. My name is Total. Nice to meet you. Your name is? I'm Demi, she said, putting out her hand for Total to shake. I'm Mitch, said her partner, smiling with his white teeth and piercing blue eyes. Nice to meet you, Mitch and Demi. Their other 2 in the film crew followed and said, I'm Zach and I'm Esther. As Total shook hands with Zach, he noticed his hands were quite smooth, except for the calluses around the pads of his index knuckles, probably from years of holding the camera. Not drinking? Asked Demi, leaning back onto the boat rail and exposing her flat-toned stomach as it shone in the sun. No, not today and maybe never again, replied Total sternly. Bad experience, huh? Said Zach, kissing Esther on the cheek. I've said him not drinking 1,000,000 times while my head lay against the toilet bowl. But here I am drinking again, giggled Total in a soft voice. Here we all are. Here we are again, drinking till we puke over the edge of this boat, said Demi, holding her beer and woo-wooing. I would love to get that puke scene on film, chimed Mitch. Slow motion, he continued, causing everyone to laugh. Okay, guys and girls, nice to meet you. But I have to walk around, walk this nausea off. Yeah man, walk it off, said Zach. Never too late to redeem yourself. The film's always ready. Walk it off, repeated Demi, and grabbed another drink. This is a booze cruise for Zeus' sake. Okay, thanks guys and gals, said Total. See you later, I'm sure. It's a small boat. Take care. Total made his way toward the front of the boat, closer to Love and Bobby and the girls they were talking to. He pushed through half-naked voluptuous bodies, curly wet hair, and muscular boys it was like walking through a garden of Greek sculptures in all their geometric glory. He fixed his gaze on the front of the boat, because all he could feel was the sway of the boat and the sway of his stomach and pounding head. Each time the boat rocked left, his body went right, the boat rocked right, his body went left. Poseidon playing tricks again. Total's voiced word in his head. Oh wow, counterbalance and counterforce. Counterbalance, counterforce. Counterbalance, counterforce. Hey there, Pally. You're back, screamed a drunken Bobby as he put his arm around Total. Holy fuck, yelled Love. Did you find anything at the back staring at the sea? Nah, some girl disturbed my wa. Fuck your wa, man, yelled Love. Let's get a drink. No, 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 said Total, waving his hand in front of his chest like a fan. The exhaust smoke smelt of gas and oil. It reminded him of the rolling round rock, the foundation of all the camps he had ventured to in Canada's Shield. His mind went back to the sight of the still morning lake below pine trees, the sound the motor breaking the silence as the smoke merged with the morning mist off the edge of the wooden dock, while loons replied with their call in the distance. A fisherman departs for his daily catch. Home, home, safe home. Just like Campe Love, said Total, smiling. Well, kinda, said Love, looking at Total queerly. I mean, the boats and the cliffs and the water are similar. But not really. Not even close, Nancy, added Bobby. We are in the fucking hot Mediterranean, with palm trees and sea creatures. Not 16-foot steel boats with swamp and pickerel. Ja, I guess. But I meant, we know what you meant. And it's not the same at all. Grab drink for Zeus' sakes. That's the second time I heard that today, said Total. It's trendy today, said Bobby, putting his beer down and standing on the edge of the boat, ready to jump in. Hey, Zeus is the god in this church. Okay, boys and girls, are you having a good time? Yelled Captain George from the boat's stereo system. Ja. All the bass and treble voices echoed in unison, with one straggling behind. Yeah, we are now at the cliffs. Barely audible. The middle-aged captain's voice crackled over the loudspeaker as he fumbled with the old microphone. Please be the most safe and enjoy yourselves. You must swim to the island and climb up a steep, sharp, pointy rocks to get to the top. After that hot work, you can jump very, very high into this beautiful, cool water. The crowd cheered as people followed Bobby and began to climb on the edge of the boat. If you jump totally naked, then you get 2 free beer, continued the captain. No naked, no beer. No naked, mimicked Love, with a high pitch in his voice. I like naked. No naked, repeated Bobby, looking at Love and laughing. Let's get naked. Finalized George as the crowd applauded with the rise in his voice. Oh Zeus, that man's a legend, said Total. I love it. Good old Captain George, observed Love. Did you see the look on his face? He walked toward me and pointed at me with a scrunched face and finger gun like he knew what I was thinking. Oh fuck yeah, added Bobby, adjusting his sunglasses. Love continued. He was like your man. This is the booze cruise. I'm the captain. I like to fuck hot girls. So do you. Let's party. Love imitated him perfectly and then laughed halfway at his own impression. Hop in the water, Total. It will spark you back, said Bobby, trying to balance on the railing. Maybe a little cool water. I mean, I'll take anything at this point. But I'm not jumping naked and smacking my sack on the water. Dive then, suggested Love, imitating a diver. Maybe. It's about 30 meters, observed Total. Bobby lead the way with a lazy pin drop and a big splash. Love chugged his beer and did an awkward dive off the edge of the boat. Ah, yelled Love as he popped up out of the water. What? Asked Total, looking down at him with closed eyes as he emerged from the clear blue sea. I forget it's salt water every time, replied Love, wiping the water from his face and eyes and spiting it out of his mouth. Bobby and Total laughed in unison at Love's idiocy. Bobby started drowning a little because he was laughing so hard and had to grab onto Love. Get off me, fuck, yelled Love as he was dunked under. You know I hate that. Total climbed up to the edge and faced backward while spreading his arms like an eagle ready to soar. He then jumped straight up and into a back flip. Fork, he yelled. What's the matter? That was a good flip, pointed out Love. Nah, I lost my bracelet. I got that from a temple in Korea. Who cares? It was ugly and old, said Love. Girls don't like prayer beads. Get a nice watch like I've been telling you. Total wiped the salt water from his face and kept swimming. The water was extremely clear, cool and blue as they swam toward the limestone island. The water felt warm as they swam and splashed forward toward the cliff people leaping off the boat behind them. Total grabbed Bobby from behind and wrapped his arms around his neck in a jiu-jitsu choke and playfully dunked him under like an alligator and his prey. Mom, Mommy. Ma, Bobby yelled jokingly as he struggled to keep his head above water. Mom, Mommy Ma, echoed Love as he laughed and choked on salt. Mommy Ma, Louie, added Matt, an American guy Bobby was talking to on the boat. Mom, Mayor, repeated Bobby, finally getting out of the chokehold. What? Yelled Mitch from the boat deck, his camera in hand. Hi. They all yelled in unison, swimming away, laughing in clusters and struggled to breathe and swim at the same time. Why on earth is that so funny? Asked the other, ravishing Canadian girl that Love was talking to earlier on the boat. Simon. Haven't you seen that episode? Said Matt. No. I don't even know what show it's from, she replied with a shy giggle. Family Guy. When Stewie is annoying Louie. Oh, I hate that show, she said with a scrunched nose. Oh well, I guess you missed the joke, said Total. You guys are like children, said the guide as he perched like a seagull on the rock that they were supposed to climb up. We sure are, agreed Love. Now pay attention, he continued. These rocks are extremely sharp, and it's a 30-foot hike. Be careful and follow my trail, he commanded as he stood up, water rolling down his pudgy body, and he stared at them with a gleam in his eyes. I wish you would have told us earlier. We would have brought shoes, complained Love, as he refused the guide's hand, pulled himself up, and sat on the rocks. Suck it up, Buttercup, countered the guide with a contemptuous smirk on his face. You love. Caveman didn't have water shoes, said Total, pulling himself up and sitting beside Love. We are not cavemen, whined Love, splashing water at Total. We live in the modern day, and in this modern day they have invented protective gear, which will help you, he said, staring in Total eyes. Relax, bud, countered Total. Love continued. Besides, I would rather not get my feet sliced open for 6 stitches on every step. Total tilted his head, and Love continued. How would your mum feel if she had to pick your body up in Europe because you were trying to show off and fell down these rocks? Point taken, agreed Total as he cleared his throat. Fuck guys, get. Grip, said Bobby. In Canada, we would never be allowed to do this, stated Total. Drinking on boats, climbing rock cliffs, jumping into unknown waters while the guide is high and the captain of the ship is having sex with the passengers and waiting for us all to get naked. God. Imagine the insurance claim if anyone got hurt, added Bobby. Bye, Pink Palace. You guys are lucky, said Matt as he lifted himself out of the water. You would at least get some injury paid for with your social health care. We would have to pay for every stitch the doctor sewed and inch the ambulance drove. Ja. I guess we are lucky, said Total, wiping his nose and standing up. One by one, they followed the guide as he led them up. Each step, the rock dug and pierced into the soles of their feet. Fork. Oh, geez. The jump better be worth it, said Love as they were halfway up the cliff. I kind of like it, yelled Total after overhearing Love. Takes my mind off the hangover. Attaboy, Total. You're slowly coming back, assured Love. Enough with the hangover. I don't want to hear about it any more. It's all in your head, scolded Bobby. My head is my body. My brain is my whole nervous system. Brain to brain stem, all the way to the fingers and toes, countered Total with a little laugh as he elbowed Matt for confirmation. Enough, barked Bobby. I don't want to hear about it. 3 points of contact, blurted out Total toward the struggling girls. Huh? Said the dark-haired girl. Make sure you have 3 points of contact when climbing up rocks, said Total, demonstrating. It's like a tripod balance. Oh, okay, thanks, she said in return. Makes sense. No problemo, said Total as he climbed beside them to the top. Are you sure it's only 3 points of contact, Total? Yelled Bobby. Yeah. Wouldn't it be more like 8? Joined Love. No, 3 limbs. Corrected Total. 2 feet and 1 hand, or 2 hands and 1 foot? Replied Total in his teacher voice. What about your fingers? Or toes? Do they count? Asked Love. Kinda. But that's not the point. Replied Total with a slight annoyance in his tone. Well, I think it is the point. Added Bobby. The whole point of this conversation is about your theory of points, and I argue that there are more points than 3. Your Total, that's his point, and I would like to point out that he has a good point. Added Love mockingly. No, that's minus points, because you 2 meatballs are nervous about climbing to the top of this cliff and jumping off. Simultaneously jealous because I'm ahead of you and talking to beautiful women. He winked and smiled at them, and now you're acting immature in front of them and holding us all up, lectured Total. We are just trying to help you out, bud, said Bobby. Good point, said the blonde. We are just looking out for you, Total. Like good parents would do, said Love. Total stood calm as he looked down at them with no expression, frozen. He took a deep breath, smiled at the girls, and kept moving forward. Are you guys always like this? Asked Megan. Yes, it's fun, isn't it? Answered Bobby. I don't know if it's more fun for you or us, she said, laughing. Well, I'm glad everyone is enjoying themselves, said Love. They reached the top of the cliff, sat down, caught their breath, and rested their punctured feet. The view was spectacular. The bareness of the grey rock complemented the open blue water as white clouds coated and floated across the sky. The rest of the boys and girls of the group reached the top and sat down. Fun fact, blurted Total, interrupting the silent moment. If you were to jump off this cliff and put a scale under your feet, how much would you weigh? Huh, that was random, said Matt. Oh yes, true, sorry, said Total, clasping his hands together and smiling at everyone. I would weigh 190 pounds, answered Love, looking down at his abs. Would you? Asked Total, with a curious expression on his face. Don't lie, said Bobby. You're at least 200 pounds. I watched you at the gym 3 weeks ago, weighing yourself with the doctor's scale, grabbing the fat around your belly with both hands, trying to shake it off with a sour look on your face. The same look you give when you have to take money out of your wallet to pay for something. Yeah, but that was 3 weeks ago, argued Love with a guilty smile. I've lost weight since then from all this backpacking. Sure you did, Bobby said sarcastically. How on earth do you lose weight eating pizzas and sandwiches for every meal and drinking loads of beer? Eh, Love? Well, I did, said Love, looking around at everyone. At least I feel I have. Sure, stated Bobby. Stop lying in front of the girls. You wouldn't weigh anything, said Matt out of the blue, interrupting Bobby's interrogation. Correct, said Total. You need an opposing force such as the ground to record your weight. Your weight is a measure of the amount of force that the ground has to push up on you. That's why you fall through the water, because it cannot match the force of your body mass. Well, technically you don't fall through the water, you just displace the H20 particles, added Matt. Yeah, exactly, replied Total, pointing at Matt. We don't care about that shit. Just do a flip or crazy trick like usual. That's what people from the boat want to see. They defiantly don't want to hear about gravity, said the guide, as he stood at the jumping platform. Yeah, why are you talking about that now? Asked Love. It's beautiful. Eh, Matt, said Total. The most amazing part is that your entire body makes a parabolic arc, like everything else that is thrown into the air from the earth, stated Total, now only talking with Bobby. Grade 10 physics, added Bobby. Just jump, he whispered out of the side of his mouth. What people don't realize is that you're decelerating the whole time, continued Total. Come on now, said Bobby sharply with great doubt in his voice. Now you're just getting foolish. He's right, added Matt, overhearing. Your body decelerates into a negative number as soon as you jump. See, said Total, acting like a child, teasing his classmate and sticking out his tongue. How's that possible? Well, picture gravity as a constant waterfall always pulling you down. If you jump directly into that waterfall, it will yank you down immediately. Or like a treadmill, added Love, who was now leaning in also. Wow, that's even better, said Total, giving Love a pat. I don't believe you guys are still talking. Would you pussies just shut up and dive? Scolded the guide as he hovered over them with his tall frame. Bobby stood up, looked over the cliff, looked back at the boys and jumped in. In the air, he held his nose and straightened his toes. Splash! His body slipped in the water and left a bubbling white residue in his wake before his head popped up with a big smile on his face. Woo, yelled Megan. Love went right behind him in his bubbly circular wake, smashing the insides of his arms against the water, making a strong slapping sound. That had to hurt, said Bobby as Love surfaced. You got scared and opened your arms too wide, Pally. Fuck you, murmured Love. You plugged your nose like a first grader. No naked, yelled Captain George through the loudspeaker. No naked, no free beer. The boys looked at each other and laughed over and over again. Matt jumped right behind them with the rest of the girls and guys hesitantly following. Plop, plop, plop. One after another, but nobody took a chance and went naked. The guide looked at Total and said, "Watch this." He perched up on the cliff, spread his arms wide and elegantly dove-calm as a seagull neatly slicing through the water, barely making a splash. I'll have to top that one, murmured Total to himself. Oh boy, best not to think about it. Just react like a breakaway. Thinking only gets in the way. I'm already thinking too much. Thinking about thinking. S-H-H-H-H. S-H-H-H. Oh, Total's foot pierced the rock as he went to the edge. He looked at the boat, then down at the water. Planted, balanced and jumped forward, flying through the air, feeling the wind smack. Bubble, bubble. He felt his head rattle. Water explode into his open eyes and heard bubbles streaming past his ears, drumming away at the thin, sensitive layer. His body finished the rotation slowly underwater, and he wondered what direction the top was. He spun around and crawled gingerly to the surface. As his head popped out of the water, a deep silence was in the air. He looked to see everyone staring at his pounding red head. I'm okay. I'm okay. He softly yelled to everyone, waving his hand in the air and trying not to grimace, saliva rushing from his cheeks. All he could taste was salt. Yuck. Wow. You really blew that one, said Bobby unempathetically. You okay? Said Love with a little chuckle. Gee, said Total, floating slowly. I got to work on my 1.5. I'll get it next time. Total's mind began to race again, head thumping and rebounding. Heart racing, pounding against my cage, heart making rhythms and more waves than the water. I could propel myself with this beat. Everyone's looking. What are they laughing at? I was the only one who tried something. Who are they? They are probably just concerned I didn't kill myself. Wow, I'm losing it. They climbed onto the boat and started to sail toward the white sand beach. Total made his way to the back of the boat to gather himself as he felt his hangover rush back stronger than before. Where you going, Pally? Said Love. Back of the boat, answered Total, who looked like a soaking wet, ragged dog. Levels are low again, eh? Noticed Love. You know it. Fuck, dude, the ride's almost over, stated Love with a disappointment in his voice. I know. Just let me gather myself back here. Oh boy. Simon now, you have been gathering yourself all day. I'll just wait back there for a while, said Total, pointing at the quiet area at the back. Don't worry. Total went back to the port where he sat down and braced himself against the captain's cabin. He felt the ocean spray cool his face. He looked at the old boards rotting, the paint chipping off the white rails, showing rust below, a faded flag fluttering and snapping in the wind. He sat there and watched the wake form again and again in a V pattern, the exhaust smoke taking off in the wind. His head pounded with full pressure, feeling every heartbeat throb through the body, sending heat waves that left trails of sweat. This feeling alone kept him sane as every sin and guilt and lie and disappointment and broken heart and self-destructive act spiraled through his mind like a staircase winding down to Dante's hell before a dehydrated death in the desert. The boat stopped at the secluded beach and screeched across the rocks. Total felt his back hit the cabin and stomach wrench from the force. Total defended into his own head again. Oh man, is this what death feels like? I'm my worst judge. I saw everything, felt everything, experienced everything. I was there. Poor Granny at the hospital alone. I missed her for this. Time and time again making the same selfish mistakes and creating the same stories. Useless I am. Trouble. Pure trouble. I am useless. This odyssey is useless. Just wasting money. Doesn't make sense. Should have stayed at home. Safe, safe home. Old wise Greeky Homer. Homer's characters. Seamen with their sails full of air, propelling them toward an impenetrable barrier, protecting by more seamen turned earth men. Hunters converted to defenders. Vital pinheads, all rippled scared, worn and war-torn, driven by Zeus' lightning bolts and Apollo fires. Chasing life and immortality. Training for war and battle and honor, but finding deceits and Trojan's horses, destroying Athena's womb from the inside out and submerging all into the adytum of Hades, only to realize they were already there. Have to respect Poseidon. Humbled by the winds and waves. That's what Grandpa Mitch always taught. God, my dad said it enough. Respect this and respect that. I think the word lost its meaning. Can't even respect my own body. This functional thing destroyed. Why did Dad quit drinking? Why? PSSHHHTT. Crack. SHHHHHH. Hey, Pally, said Love, hovering over him. A wise man once told me that. You can't be hungover if you're drunk, interjected Total. That's right, replied Love in an excited voice, as he knelt down beside Total. I guess this is the remedy, eh? Said Total, looking up at Love with sunken eyes. Love stood tall, full of virility. "Ya man fuck," he yelled sharply, holding a butter knife that was full of the sudsy wheat-smelling beer that it just punctured. "Oh boy," said Total, looking up at Love. "Oh boy is right," said Love. "I guess the only way out," he paused and grabbed the opener for the beer, "is to go right back in." "Shall I guess so," murmured Total as he slowly looked up and grabbed the cold can. "It's time for a shotgun," said Love, puncturing the bottom of the can. "Shotgun, eh?" "Yup. Ever been to India?" "No, not yet," said Total sincerely. "Well," Love paused. "Let's get to India. Enough with the clichés." Total replied with a chuckle. "Enough with the depression," countered Love. "It's vexing this boat sailing and scudding forward with all these beauties and drinks and music in the front. And you are barely breathing here in the back." "Fine," said Total. "Look at you," observed Love, now sitting beside him. "You are fading away into a shadow. You let the tides of time weaken you. Get your levels up, get a spark. Let's make a party. Let's strive for a story. Time to make a comeback. Has anyone got naked yet?" asked Total curiously. "No," answered Love, a small twitch out of the corner of his mouth as he crouched beside Total. "Make out?" asked Total as he looked at the beer. "Not really," answered Love, now standing up straight. "Well, a couple was kissing, like a romantic kiss." "Oh, geez, what kind of booze cruise is this?" said Total, disappointed. Total stood back up and held the can to his lips. A puncture was made by Love at the bottom of the can, where Total was about to drink. His other hand used his nail and slowly pulled the tab at the front to a cocked position ready to fire. "Straight to the lees," said Love before they tilted the cans. Bottom up, looked each other in the eye and then, SHHH, SHHH, glug, 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 glug. Total felt the carbonated cold liquid ripple past the sharp edges of the can, trickle off his lips and roll past his tongue. "Ah," he blurted out. "Burns real good, eh, pal?" said Love. "Wow, that was definitely a rush," said Total as he leaned over and spit out the rest. "Yeah, for sure. There was only one thing that was going to save you." "Yeah, I know. It's sad, though." "What's sad about it?" "I had to take a depressant to get out of my depression." "Can't be hungover if you're drunk." "Can't be hungover if you are drunk," echoed Total as they smashed cans together. "What the fuck are you two guys doing back here?" "Ha ha ha," yelled Bobby, who was covered with beach sand and water. "Starting the party," said Love. "Getting another shotgun ready." "Well, the party's rocking out in the front. Broads everywhere. We are playing frisbee on the beach, swimming, wrestling, tanning, everything," stated Bobby with a hiccup. "Okay, sounds good," said Total. "I see you have 3 beers there." "Well, of course," said Bobby. "I take care of my pals. I'm feeling better already," said Total, grabbing 1 beer. "Let's do some more." They sliced the cans, popped the tabs, and shot the booze. They went to the front of the boat where the American girls they were talking with earlier were coming off the beach and toweling themselves off. "Oh, you finally found your friend and brought him back to the party," said the confident, ravishing one. "I am the party." Total snapped with a surprising confidence. "Oh, wow, look who's all tough now," she replied, toweling off her striating body and thick hair. "Well, I have had 2 cans of liquid courage, so I'm ready to go, said Total nervously. 2 cans gets you drunk, boy? She asked with a scrunch in her eyebrow. Yup, said Total, looking down at his cans. Wow, yow's a weak one, ain't you? What's your name? I'm Total. And yours, he said, shaking her strong hand. Andromeda. She say, staring deep into his eyes. I thought I saw you drinking water at the beginning of the cruise, stated Total. That wasn't water, Pally. That was straight rum, whispered Bobby out of the side of his mouth. Holy shit, said Total, frozen in fear. Andromeda winked at him and took another swig from the 2-liter bottle she was pulling from. I started the party a long time ago, honey, she said, leaning toward Love and rubbing her index fingers along his pecs. I'm just too slick for anyone to see, she added with a husky whisper. You definitely did start the party in the underground with Captain George, said Love. What you say, Baldy? Andromeda asked with a smirk on her face. No, nothing, said Love. I was just giving an example of how you did start the party. I was just igniting the booze cruise from the captain's cabin, she said with a half smirk. I wanted to see what it was like to drive the boat for a bit, she said, holding Love's hand. I'm kind of a control freak like that. Was it powerful? Asked Love, looking around at everyone awkwardly. You tell me, she responded as she grazed her forefinger under his chin. I guess it was, added Love. Andromeda continued. I was the only one who saw the lights beginning to twinkle from the rocks. The deep ocean moaned and moaned, round with many voices. She stepped back, took a drink from the bottle, and scanned everyone's eyes with her piercing black irises. She then looked away, placed her left foot over the edge of the boat, toes curled and flexed, her left hand on her thigh, her bikini skirt folded and fluttering in the wind, nail scratches on her back and a fresh one on her rib. She took a deep breath, held her drink high in her right hand, cocktail flag waving, and confidently continued. Come, my new friends. We have sailed past the sunset into these beautiful baths. Now let's continue to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Let's puff this vessel's sails up, before the thunder and clouds cast o'er the sunshine. She stood tall as the 3 boys watched in amazement. Before our heroic hearts are stricken and made weak by time and fate, before our souls toil and rot, let us meet the great Achilles and ride with him into the happy isles, ride into the murky depth of Hades and rise into the brilliant cluster of the heliocentric, sparkling eyes of Hyades. They all froze, looked at each other, smiled and clanked beers. Oh wow, brilliant and stunning. What a combo. Praised Total as he saluted her with his beer. You got that right, honey, said Andromeda as she put her arm around Total's waist and kissed his rosy cheek. All right then, said Bobby. Game fucking on. Let's get some beers and get to the front of the boat with some wind. Fucking hot out here, eh, pals, added Love. It's hot out here too, Total. It's hot out here, repeated Bobby as he hopped gingerly to the front, carrying his libations. It sure is, agreed Love as he wiped his shiny forehead. They all grabbed the beers from the bar, made their way up to the front, and moved slowly along the deck through bodies, swaying back and forth from the waves. Total introduced himself to the rest of the girls in the American group. So how did you all meet? Asked Total. We all went to business school together, said Chelsea, the thin, exotic-looking girl who was wearing a blue bikini top and dark bottoms. Oh, wow. I'm sure you enjoyed talking to old businessman Bobby, joked Total. Oh, yeah. He wants us to go to his school instead, added Chelsea. His school, joked Love. The only thing he has taught was a school of fish. And they all went belly up, added Total. My school is cheaper, more efficient, and involves a lot of drinking, defended Bobby. So I already signed up, said Andromeda as she took a swig from her big bottle. Yo ass too, added Megan, the sexy blonde, and Claudia, the thin blue-eyed girl. They all cheered each other and took a drink. Bobby continued to talk with them about business and pleasure. As always, he had them laughing and having a great time. Total looked at Love, put his arm around his shoulder, pulled him close and whispered, It's time. Huh? Replied Love. It's time. Time for what? Another shotgun? Asked Love, staring at the beer. No, it's time to be the catalyst. Catalyst. Like an energy reaction in biology? Asked Andromeda. Exactly. A match, spark, a firework explosion. Let's lead these people into a Dionysian's den of earthy pleasure on this sea, in the center of this paradise. You are drunk, ain't you? Noticed Love. Yup, I'm full sail, Pally. Lit right up like a Christmas tree thanks to you. Stated Total, clanking Love's beer and spilling suds over the edge. I already was the catalyst for you. Now it's your turn. I'm done, added Andromeda. There is about 1 hour left on this tour, and I will be damned if nobody gets naked. I will be the sacrificial lamb. No, the shepherd. Yes, that makes more sense, I think, he said, staring at his empty beer. Total looked at Love with a half smile, flushed cheeks and dilated pupils. He then looked around the boat, winked at Bobby, put down his beer and grabbed the waistband of his bathing trunks. "You fucking way," blurted Love. No one noticed. Holy Jesus. Look at that thing, it's half-mast, commented Love as he leaned forward and pointed. It's not half-mast, replied Total. It's about a quarter-mast. That's half. Simon, man. Total stared at Love, with pursed lips, and said slowly, "If you don't pull your shorts down in 30 seconds, I'm going to kill you." "Dude, you're crazy," said Love, gently smiling. "I'm not doing that. Look around, this isn't the booze cruise we all thought. Either it's a myth, or this crowd isn't into it." Total stared at him, dangling there with the waves, his face quivering, his hair waving in the wind, and took a long sloppy sip and slurp of his empty beer. "Don't look at me like that," replied Love, yelling in the wind and over the music. "News flash. You are the single human that's naked on this ship. This crew isn't into that. There now," said Total, and reached over to grab Love's shorts, only to be blocked by a quick slap of the hand and grit of the teeth. "Fuck off, man," snapped Love with a serious look on his face. Total quietly and calmly leaned forward, looked Love in the eye, and said clearly and firmly, "If you don't, pull your pants down and catalyze. I'm going to tell Rune and Mac and Moose and Beej and Nath and JJ and all our other friends back home that I had the balls to get shit going, and you sat there and left me hanging." He leaned back and took another sip of his empty beer. "Your choice." Love took a drink of beer, tilted his head to the side and braced himself from the waves. "Fuck," he said under his breath. Love breathed in deeply through his widened nostrils and started to untie the loop holding up his grey shorts. "Catalyze," repeated Total. "I hate you, you know that," said Love, looking up at him, with his chin pointed down to the ground. "I knew you would come around," chuckled Total as he slapped his knee and drank. "Catalyze, Pally, catalyze." Love carefully removed his flip-flops, one by one, with a disappointed look on his face, stood up and slid his bathing shorts down, stepping out of them, one by one. They both sat there, beer in hand, manhood dangling between the legs, the wind at their backs, as the waves clawed the boat and splashed their bodies. "Look at that elephant's trunk," noted Total, pointing at Love. "You better jiggle it a little, before anyone looks. It's a limp sail. Get some wind under there." "At least I shaved mine and cleaned it up," said Love, pulling his sack left and right. "We are not in Japan anymore. It's time to trim the bush. If a lion shaves his mane, he's no longer king of the jungle," argued Total, sipping his beer again. "We are not in the jungle, fucknut. We live in cities, and this is a boat." "Whatever," said Total, tapping Love's beer. They clanked cans together and chugged the rest. "Oh my God," said Megan, who suddenly broke away from Bobby's lecture and just looked over and noticed the two naked men at the front of the boat. "You guys are crazy fools. Look at those beautiful things," said Andromeda as she pulled out her camera. "Stay there, let me take a pic." Andromeda handed the camera to Claudia and laid under the two boys, as if she were at a beer factory and were drinking from the taps. She tried to grab Total's member, but he pulled his hips away and said, No, said a shy Total. "Please don't touch. I'll get hard." "He's not joking," bursted Bobby as he pulled out his camera to take a pic. "It's already firing up. Fuck you, Bobby. Get your damn shorts off and join the team," yelled Love, waving his hand around and pointing. "Never," defended Bobby as he took a sip. "I'm not stupid as you guys." "If you want, I will," said Megan as she untied her skinny black straps of her thin bikini top and threw it to the ground. The whole group stopped and stared as she jumped up and down and raised her arms in the air. "Whoa, wee banzai," she yelled at the top of her lungs and then hugged Chelsea. Chelsea and Claudia playfully removed their tops, captivating the boys with their curvaceous figures, stylish sunglasses, and radiant smiles against the backdrop of the sun. She jumped up and down, then sat beside Total and Love as they smiled till it hurt. The entire boat, one by one, slowly began to turn around and gaze at this show and take out their cameras. Bobby took off his army shorts and joined the group with a huge smile. The group of naked bodies shone in the sun as they hugged and laughed and drank, basking in the nature and nude state they were all born, floating in the wind, beyond all inhibitions and into the blazing light of air. The setting sun dipped toward the horizon, stirring the waves. Spray from the surf drenched us as Captain George shouted over the loudspeaker, "Naked! I wanted naked, and now we have naked! Woohoo!" The music blared from the old speakers, David Guetta's beats mingling with the sea and cliffs, reaching the monastery's meditating monks. Bikini tops dropped, bodies and heart rhythms merged with the music's rhythm. Booze spilled on skin, lace, and hair as everyone captured the wild trip. Bodies quivered, danced, and jumped, sinking with the ocean's waves under the setting sun. Zach and the film crew were capturing the experience with all their film equipment. Total, Love and Bobby sat there as girl after girl took a picture of them, like Santa Claus on Christmas. Total looked at Love and said, "Catalyze, baby, catalyze. Now this is a booze cruise." "Yeah, man, awesome," said Love. "Just before we docked also," added Bobby. "Perfect." "Yes," agreed Love. "Doesn't Captain George owe us a beer?" noted Bobby. "Let's go get one," said Love as he hopped up and stormed forward through the crowd. Total followed Love through the mass of human flesh to the area where the whipped cream was getting licked and beers were being served to the leers. They walked toward the middle cabin where Captain George steered the vessel and simultaneously served beer. "Hey, Georgie," yelled Love. George looked at them, crunched his nose, and then gave them a thumbs up. "Grab us a beer," demanded Love. "Beer okay. 2 €, replied the captain. No. We got naked. We get free beer," said Love, mimicking his accent. "Only girls get free beer with naked." "I don't want to see guys naked," he stated, looking away into the horizon. "Simon man," argued Total. "We started this whole naked party. You can at least give us one beer on principle. I didn't see you first naked," countered George, focusing on the wheel. "You must have seen us from your captain's nest." "Simon, look at these beautiful cocks. How could you miss them?" said Love, pointing to their masts. "No beer. 2 €, he said, remaining firm. "Fuck that." Love grabbed a beer, opened it, and chugged it in front of him. George laughed and said, smiling, Okay. 1 free beer." He tossed another one to Total. The beer flew toward Total, and he caught it with a slight slip and bobble. "Afaristo, Captain George," said Total as he grabbed another beer from the cooler and threw it to George, causing the ice to rumble around. George caught it, winked, and cracked it open. "Cheers." They all drank their last beers as the boat's motor slowed before the beach. People from shore looked at the naked hedonistic crew and started to clap and cheer as the boat slid into the shallow water and sand. People continued to party as the guides and Captain George started to clean the vessel and ask everyone to disembark. The last group of people carefully got off the boat as Love, Bobby, and Total put their trunks back on. "Well, that turned out well," observed Love. "Lucky you had a TSN turning point," said Bobby toward Total. "Can't believe you were considering not coming," said Love. "Yeah, no shit, said Matt. "Would have been a bummer. The best part, guys, is that we still have another party tonight," said Love, staring directly at Total. "Oh shit, yay," said Bobby, giving Love a high five. "Red Bulls," suggested Love. "Yes, Pally, yes," cheered Bobby. "We will be sponsored by Red Bull tonight for sure. They already called me about advertising." "I'm not going," said Total, lowering and shaking his head. "I barely made it through that one." "We all know you're coming," said Bobby, patting him on the back. "Okay, let's shower and go. We need to catch up with Connie and Whitey," said Love as he stepped over the edge of the boat, avoiding the hand of the guide. "Rather not be touched, thank you. The morning after." They all walked through the shallow beach, as the sun hovered above the horizon and the water lapped against their ankles. They crawled up the beach, all sunburnt and exhausted, red as lobsters. The 4 American girls jumped off the boat, followed behind, hopped around, hugged them and said in a rapid cluster, "Thanks, boys." "That was an amazing day," said Chelsea. "You guys are awesome," added Megan. "We never thought in a million years we would do something like that," chimed Chelsea. "Wow, so much fun. Come pick us up at our room when you're ready," added Andromeda. "See you then," replied Love. After giving each one of them a kiss on the cheek and hug, they walked off toward the hotel, as the boys stood there staring at their immaculate forms glimmering in the shadows of the waning sun beyond the dimming light. "Remember to sign our book," yelled Total as they walked away, his voice drowned out in the waves. "Why did you wait so long to say that?" asked Bobby. "Not sure," said Total, clearing his throat. "I need a nap." "No time for a nap now. It's time to get a second wind." "Oh boy, here we go." "Yeah, here we go." They walked toward their rooms, slowly dragging their sandals in the sand as a group of young Spaniards played around in the hot tub within the courtyard, speaking in Spanish tongues and energizing the calm night. Bobby and Love headed to the Palladium while Total, after lingering in the shower, chose to rest. Later, inspired by the lively courtyard hot tub party under the evening lights, Total joined. He was welcomed by Spanish boys with a beer and relaxed on a floating chair among guests from the boat, the beach, and the flip cup tournament. "Splash! You were the guy, naked at the front of the boat," said one of the girls, as she pushed him off the floating chair. "Yes, that was me," said Total, as he attempted to hold his drink above water, to save it the floating chair now in the hands of an ivory white smile. "Quite brave of you," she said, splashing water into his face. "Well," said Total, wiping the chlorine from his eyes. "Everyone talked about these cruises being a great party. I guess someone had to start it." "Yes, I guess so," she replied, splashing him again, giggling and throwing the rubber raft at him. "But I didn't see you until the end of the trip." "I was resting in the back of the boat," replied Total. "You didn't talk to me," she said, splashing him again. "Well, there were many people on that boat, and I was out of commission for a while." "It's okay." "I'm just teasing you," she said, stopping and cornering him in the pool. "Sorry, I didn't see you on the boat." "I wish I did," said Total with a big grin. "Well, you have time now," she said, grabbing his face and kissing him on the cheek. "Okay," he said. "Let's go for a walk on the beach where it's quieter." "Sure," she said in a cute voice and hopped up on the edge. "What's your name?" he said as he hopped up beside her. "Collie," she said, daintily handing him her hand. "I'm Total," he said as he shook it and kissed the top. Her hand lay gentle and weightless in his as he stared in her eyes. He gleamed back at her, put his drink down and lead her past the steps and out onto the moonlit beach. "Oh wow, I can barely see a thing in this lighting," complained Total. They walked hand in hand along the beach, now strikingly cold compared to the warmth they'd left behind. "Why don't you slow down and feel your way through the beach?" said Collie, her elegant, sensual figure moving through the indigo space like a composed Greek vase, her curvy hips and breasts barely visible in the shadows. "I'm excited to get in the water." "That hot tub was hot," he said. "The hot tub was hot? Really? I wonder why that was," said Collie with a sarcastic laugh to follow. "Isn't that the sole purpose of the hot tub?" "Oh yeah, that sounded really dumb," said Total, laughing at his own joke. "Nah, it was cute," she replied, poking him in the ribs. The ground transitioned from rocky to sandy, leading to the surf's gentle rhythm. Gather, roll, crash. As they reached the cold, compacted shoreline, Total's feet subtly sank with each step, surrounded by water's foamy embrace. Continuously, they ventured deeper, navigating the shallow's textured patterns. "Don't you love the way the sand feels on the bottom of your feet in this area?" said Total as he walked deeper. "No, it kinda hurts," she replied. "Nah, it's like a massage for free," he argued. "You are crazy." "Yes, I am," he agreed. "I also think it's crazy how the rippling of the water reflects the rippling of the sand. Yes, it's kind of interesting, I guess," she said with a change in tone. "Doesn't the waves in the water cause the ripples in the sand?" Total smiled and shrugged his shoulders. They moved deeper, paddling to stay warm, captivated by each other's presence in the moonlit water. It makes me think that maybe everything else is reflected, said Total, looking at the sky. Like what? She asked. Sun to moon. Moon to water. Water to your eyes and pretty face, he said with pursed lips. Oh wow. If that wasn't the cheesiest line, I don't know what is, she stated, laughing. He also burst out with laughter at his own cheesiness and said, wasn't supposed to be a line. Oh really, really, he protested. So, do you always think of scientific things, she asked, holding both of his hands now. Sure, he said, tugging back at her hands. Well, anything that's interesting. In Terry's ting, she claimed now, looking at the sky. Look at those stars, said Total, following her gaze. Long ago the Greeks thought them to be gods on chariots. Then they became constellations by people connecting unrelated dots. You're beautiful any way you think of them, she added. If you look at them from a different point in the solar system, you can make different shapes and connect different dots, thus different star signs and shapes, he added. Never thought of it that way, she said quietly. It's a big theme in Greek myths, noted Total. What is? She asked. Do the gods control your fates or you? Or do they just interfere here and there? I always thought I chose my fate, but the universal energy helps me here or there, she stated. I kinda like Zeus and Athene and Hermes helping Ulysses and whisking him around. I guess I like to eat my cake and have it too, she said with a giggle. Doesn't everyone? Agreed Total. What do you think? She asked him. In the spirit of the philosophers, understanding our choices involves recognizing both internal and external influences. Great rhetorical way to dodge the answer, she said, squeezing his hands harder. Those Greeks taught you well. They are an amazing bunch, with all aspects of knowledge, said Total. Especially their food, added Collie. Who's your favourite? I like many, but Socrates is my far. Why? While everyone was waiting for a military hero to save the Greeks, he came through with wisdom and knowledge. He was a man of conscience, inquiry, of self-reflection. Kind of like Jesus, she asked. Yee, I guess he is. Their stories do share a similar theme. He was supposed to be a military messiah also, but chose compassion and forgiveness. True, she agreed. They were both sacrificial lambs for the greater good or principle. Socrates with the hemlock and Jesus on the cross, added Total. Egypt, Greece and Israel, expecting military heroes, were instead graced with non-violent moral visionaries. Okay, those are cool fun facts. What else is interesting? She said, pulling herself closer to get a quick kiss. Well, said Total, now excited. What if humans are able to feel the same reflection the sand gets from the water rippling above it? What do you mean? She asked, looking deeply into his eyes. Like an antenna, receiving information. He clarified. You're shy, aren't you? Hiding behind intellectual talk to avoid dealing with emotions. Are you saying I have feelings for you? He asked, floating back. I didn't say it. You did, she said, moving forward. Oh, clever, he replied. Possibly. I sure am, she said, placing her foot on his and planting down in the sand. Well, he said, clearing his throat. What if my antenna is detecting that you're attracted to me, and inversely that is activating the sexual animal in me? Is your penis a female hormone detector or something? Yes, maybe it's detecting your pheromones, he said with a crooked smirk on his face. Funny guy. Is that why your face is red? Oh shit, you're good. But how did you know I was flush? I'm studying nursing, I know these things. They waded deeper into the water and crouched down, hands paddling face to face about 3 feet apart, keeping their bodies warm in the water away from the evening's cool air. It's simple, she continued. You're a guy drunk in Greece, captivated by an intelligent woman under the moonlight reflecting off the water. She leaned forward and whispered, just 8 minutes ago. Oh shit, that was intelligently sexy, stammered Total. I think I just went from half-mast to full sail. Kiss me deep, she demanded. Done. Total drew her closer, and as their lips met, warmth spread between them. Their embrace tightened with every breath, a dance of passion in the stillness. She moaned, as her nails dug into his back and her ankles into the back of his thighs. He could feel her warmth juxtaposed with the cool sea, their bodies moving with the rhythm of the waves. They didn't need to be any closer. The intensity of their intimacy was evident in their shared experience. With his mind on the gentle kissing and the vast night sky above, adorned with ancient constellations, their connection deepened. They rode the waves under the celestial dome, entwined, yet free. Wow! Collie pulled away and stared Total in the eye with a devious smile. Let's go where it's warmer. As the moon hung in the indigo sky, the sunset painted a buttermilk canvas, folding into the horizon. The ocean's waves playfully chased them up the rugged beach, beneath the dark silhouette of the mountains, cut by European-style rooftops. They put on their shorts and bathing suit and walked toward the pink palace rooms. They felt the cold concrete and heard the slap of their feet on the wet ground with every step. As they turned the corner, they saw Love and Alice in the kidney-shaped pool sitting together, drinking, talking and laughing on the edge of the tub. "Hey, you're still up?" asked Total, now more enthused. "Yup, and you wouldn't believe what just happened to me," stated Love as he shook his head. "Is it as cool as us skinny dipping in the moonlight?" "Well, it's not cool at all, actually," said Love, looking at Alice with a little snicker. "Oh, shit. What happened?" asked Total, as he crouched down to hear. "She saw us." "Who saw you?" "My girl." "Your girl?" "The one from Montreal." "Yes, she walked right down those steps, saw me in the hot tub with Alice and froze." "Holy shit. What did she do then?" asked Collie. "Well, she yelled, 'I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it,' with her hands over her face." "Wow." "Yeah," he said with a gasp. "Then she pulled a 180 and bolted up those steep steps, tripping once or twice." "She tripped?" "Yes, she tripped." "And you didn't help her?" "No." Simon Total. "What am I supposed to do? Hop out of this hot tub naked? Leave Ally here and go pick her up? With this raging rocket I have pointed at the sky. Could you imagine that scene?" "That's true," agreed Total. "Do you think she is okay?" asked Total. "She was a sweet, innocent girl. That must have crushed her. I'm not sure." "I will go talk to her tomorrow," said Love. "You should have listened to MJ. "Jackson?" asked Love, taking a sip of beer. "Billie Jean. Don't go around breaking young girls' hearts." Love looked at him silently and just shook his head. Suddenly Whitey came down the stairs, with his shirt in his hands and Wayfarer sunglasses hanging off his scruffy face. "Hey, if it isn't Total Recall," and Louvahy yelled and chuckled. "Wow, you're drunk," noted Total. "I thought you passed out," continued Whitey, putting his arm around Total. "I resurrected." "Shots, shots, shots," bellowed Whitey. Love looked at Alice and shrugged. "Total Recall, recall, recall. I love that name." "Ha ha," snickered Whitey. "And you," he pointed at Love, "you would always, always make love and never ever war. Wouldn't you, you handsome cunt? And good old Bobby Desler just having a cat nap resting for tomorrow's shift on the beat. I'm so happy to meet you crazy mates." Love and Total just looked at each other. "We love you too, Pally," said Love, giving him a high five, followed by Total slapping Whitey on the ass, causing Whitey to suddenly take off toward the bench like a bolt of lightning, swinging his shirt in his left hand and raising his drink in his right. "Anyways," said Total, clearing his throat. "Yeah, that was a crazy story. Sorry to interrupt your evening," interjected Collie. "We will leave you two cats to continue your twin soul serration." "Jaman." "Ciao," added Love. "Leave the door open." "'Kay," said Total, grabbing Collie's hand. Total turned around and began to walk away, until Love shouted, "Take this to the room with you." Love tossed a silver camera in Total's direction. Total stepped back and cushioned it with his hands, trying not to let it drop. "Oh shit, dude. It's Bobby's camera," observed Total with eyes wide and mouth open. "Complete lie. Waterlogged," he added, shaking it. "You destroyed it." "Yes, I know. I forgot it was in my pocket," said Love, tilting his head and pursing his lips. "He's going to lose it," added Total, shaking his head. "He sure is. It's the second one I broke. Yeah, not to mention the $100 cologne you smashed last night." "Oh yay," said Love, looking at Alice and laughing. "He's not going to lend me anything ever again. Either of us," agreed Total. "But remember, you break it, you buy it." "Ah well, ciao." "Ya ciao," replied Love as he turned and splashed Alice. Total and Collie walked back to the boys' room. Total took out his key, opened the door and placed the keys on the table, quietly as to not wake the grizzly Bobby. As soon as he turned around, Collie grabbed him, kissed him, and threw him to the bed. "Choke me," she said. "Pardon?" he asked, surprised. "Choke me. You heard me, fucking choke me." "Choke you?" "Well, no, I've never choked another female before during, you know, sex," she finished. "Yeah, sex," he slightly whispered, dragging the S. "Well, there is a first for everything." "How do I do that?" he asked, his hand rubbing in his hair. She grabbed his wrist and placed his hand around her neck, cutting off the jugular and major arteries. "Oh wow, this is sadistic." "Choke harder," she commanded. "Ah, okay. But I have never done this before, so bear with me," exclaimed Total as he gingerly grabbed her throat. He squeezed her neck slightly harder as he simultaneously tried to enter her wet pussy. He awkwardly gripped the sweaty windpipe with a confused expression and tried to find another place to put his other hand. "Stop, stop, stop," she said, laughing, as she pulled his hand away from the position and sat up, facing him. "Let's just take a break. You seem uncomfortable." "No, no, no. Let me try something. You want a choking? I will give you a choking. The best way I know how." "Okay," she said, her eyes now inflated and glowing. Total gently pulled himself out of her and rolled her on her side. He spooned behind her carefully and delicately. He repositioned his hips slightly as he kissed her gently on the earlobe, causing her to wriggle in pleasure. The more he kissed, the more she wriggled and twisted and moistened herself, allowing him to slowly enter deeper and deeper. The more she moved, the tighter the rear noose became. She moaned. "Are you okay?" He relaxed and empathetically whispered in her ear. "Shut up and fuck me and choke me till I can't breathe," she said with a gag in her voice. Without answering, Total wrapped one leg around her and tightened his grip, indirectly entering deeper into her extremely moist loins. "Oh fuck," she gasped as she gripped his forearms tighter. He squeezed tighter in the triangle and quickly thrust as deep as he could at the same time, causing her to tighten up. She moaned as her body shuddered. He refined his movements, becoming more precise. Her body responded intensively, culminating in a final, expressive release. He let go immediately on the first tap, as he did during training, spinning her around and asking, "Are you okay?" "Yes, yes, yes." "Wow, that was unbelievable." "Unbelievable," she repeated while she held her throat and laid exhausted against the wrinkled sheets. "Holy fuck. Well, that's the only way I knew how to choke from jiu-jitsu." "Well, you should definitely market that. That was hot." "No, no, no, actually just save it for me." "Well, thanks. I was just spontaneous. You put me under pressure. I'm not sure I have the courage to do that again. I mean, you kind of scared me and excited me at the same time. A switch went off in my brain." "Well, thank God it did." "I'm happy I experienced that," she said, staring at the roof. "You are most welcome," said Total. "It may have made its first and last appearance in the bedroom. It's a little much for me." Total and Collie lay in the hot room, entwined as sunlight streaked across the wall, dust dancing in the breeze. They were interrupted by a knock at the door. "Total, open up." Total rose slowly to open the door as he heard various voices chatting and giggling outside. He opened the door to see Love with the other Americans, all chipper and excited. "Can we come in here and change?" said Meg. "Sure, I guess." "Ah, it is Collie," said Chelsea. "I could tell by the gladiator sandals." "Wow, nice hookup," said Meg as she peeked the room. Collie looked out the door with a smile and a thumbs up as she held the sheets over her naked body. Total put his shorts on and met Love outside on the balcony. The girls changed while Collie showered. "So what happened?" asked Love as they stood outside on the balcony. Total looked at him for a second with a crooked smirk on his face. "Well, tell me," he repeated in desperation. Total leaned toward him and whispered the whole story. Love leaned back immediately and laughed out loud, his chin sky high in the air, hands on the railing and back arched as far as it could go. He laughed hard and long, till his eyes were red and popping out of his head and tears welled in his eyes. He finally looked at him, tried to talk, and started to laugh again with a hoarse burst deep from his belly, barking like a dog. "You got to be fucking kidding me," he finally mustered out of his mouth with an aftergasp. "No, I'm serious," Total responded with a chuckle. "Holy fork. You're trying to tell me she asked you to choke her and the most appropriate response was to use a Muay Thai choke hold on her. No, it was jiu-jitsu, corrected Total. What fucking ever, man, that's insane, he said. Ja, I know. It was shy at first, but I trusted her. It's kinda sexy, now that I think of it. Well, it's sexy if you do it on a girl, said Love seriously. Don't start humping guys in the ring. I don't think they give extra points for choking and humping. No, I'm thinking that would be frowned upon, joked Total in response. Minus born points. Pound for pound champion, said Love with a burst. They both laughed and leaned over the balcony. What on earth are you guys laughing at out here, said Collie. I told him the story, said Total honestly. Simon, you did, she said with a scowl and punch in the arm. It's my best friend. It's allowed. People always tell their best friend. You will tell yours. It's automatic, said Total, scrambling for an explanation. Yes, maybe, she said in response. I just told the girls. They loved it. So adorable. She still looked strikingly sexy. Her hair, wet and messy, covering her flushed face. The sun waited for no one as it rose and illuminated the grounds. Everyone except Total packed their bags and went to the reception area. On the way up the stairs, they felt the heat pound down from the sky onto the courtyard and young Spaniards that were still jumping in and out of the hot tub. Total woke up Bobby, who didn't move the entire time, and helped him pack his bag. Bobby and Total walked one last time up the stairs with their gear and walked into the reception area where there were rucksacks and suitcases lined up and backpackers from all nations checking out. New people guzzling their pink licorice shots as they checked in. Total put his bags down and looked around for Love. As he scanned the hall, he saw Love, Connie, Whitey, and a bunch of other boys laughing, pushing each other and looking in his direction. Is that him? Asked a blond boy with a South African accent. Me? Total pointed to himself with a shy smile and walked over. Is that the choke master? Said the South African boy with a big smile on his face. Choke master, repeated Total in a squeaky voice, while looking at Love with angry eyes. You're Total, said Connie, offering Total a high five that Total returned with a limp wrist. You are awesome, mate. That's the best story I've ever heard. You are a legend, mate, said Whitey as he looked up from writing in the book. Tell us all about it. Come on, don't be shy, you're leaving in 30 minutes, assured Connie. Total sat down and hesitantly told them the full story with the entire round table of boys hanging on every word. He told every detail as fast as he could while taking sips of beer in between, slowly moving from fluent to choppy to fluent. Smash! The whole room stopped suddenly, then looked toward the source of the sound. Standing there at the bar with sunglasses on and shirt off was the same pasty white Pillsbury doughboy that was there while they checked in. Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining, he barked and laughed and choked on his own joke. That guy hasn't even left the bar yet, noted Bobby. I heard he has been there the whole time, said Whitey. Come here and he'll drop kick you in the head. The Aussie boy yelled at all the onlookers. Do you know your rule? He said to a young girl that had just sat at the bar next to him. She stared at him with a queer look. You wouldn't even know your rule. Yahoo, he pointed at her with his nose and tipped glass, wouldn't even know Jarl. He repeated with an intonation at the end. Oh boy, said Love. Another beer, he said to the barkeep. No, sorry, you're cut off, sir, she said with a sour expression. Off? He leaned over the bar to grab another drink. As he fumbled around, someone grabbed his shoulder from behind and spun him around quickly. The Aussie boy turned around to see Nicky, the bouncer, staring him in the eye and pointing at the door. I'll take you outside and karate kick you, said the Aussie boy as he tried to balance his wavering. You won't last 2 minutes with me, said Nicky with clenched fists and eyes glaring. PFFT, said the Aussie bloke in contempt as he tried to push Nicky away with a left jab to the chest. Nicky parried his arm and swam to his back, locking him in a rear naked choke. There it is, yelled Whitey. The famous choke hold, added Matt. Nicky sunk the choke in and used the Aussie's head as leverage to yank him outside, bursting through the doors. Fuck. He was right. He only lasted 18 seconds on my watch, said Bobby. Yup. Works every time, said Total with a laugh. Although, I think yours was truer to the definition, said Whitey. You were in the rear and naked. He added Bobby Nicky was only in the rear, fully clothed. They all laughed in scattered unison as some people got up and others still sat and drank. Love, Total and Bobby walked toward the pile and line-up of people checking out of the Pink Palace. "Do you have the key?" asked Total as he smashed and smacked his pockets frantically, in a panic desperately searching for them. "Look at you all flustered," Love said as he mimicked Total's behavior, with Bobby looking on in laughter. "Well, who has the key?" said Total with a serious expression. "They will charge us extra if we lost it. It's right here, man, relax," assured Love, as he grabbed the key out of his pocket slowly. A smirk sculpted quickly on his scruffy face, and a tiny spark of energy is his dark, baggy eyes. "Okay, stop fucking around and let's check out." "I'm done with this place," added Bobby. Love leaned over to give the receptionist the keys and began flirting with her. Total turned around and was talking to Bobby about the fight that just happened until he got a gentle pat on the back. "Hey, guys?" "You checking out?" said Steve with a slight whisper of fatigue and secrecy in his voice. "Yeah, man, we are all done here," said Total, as he turned around with an energetic high five. Steve lifted his hands slightly and clasped both of his hands around Total's, as an old man would do to a grandson. "What's wrong, Pally?" asked a concerned Total. "You stay up all night? Hungover? Your levels look low, man." "Ja, I didn't sleep at all." "I'm bushed," said Steve, looking around his shoulder and checking the room. "You guys wouldn't believe what happened to me," continued Steve. "What happened to you?" asked Love, curiously leaning forward. "Well," started Steve as he whispered and looked over his shoulder. "I was just taking shots at the bar and some beautiful young girl came up to me." "I like where this is going," said Bobby as he put his arm around Steve. "She started talking to me, telling me she was watching me ever since she came to the island. She liked my style, obviously." "Oh, wow. She was picking you up," said Total. "I guess so. We kept talking all night, and I mentioned I saw her around with her hot group of friends, and I thought she was by far the cutest." "Oh, God. You're both feeding each other lines," said Total. "No, I meant it," argued Steve. "Sure you did." "Would you just let him tell the story?" barked Love, giving Total dagger eyes. "Okay, sorry. Go on." "Go on," apologized Total. "Well, we went to the platform and talked longer and really got to know each other. We kissed briefly and then went back to my bungalow and started making out heavier and heavier. I had all my clothes off and she was down to her underwear. Wow, boys, she had the softest skin and nice curvy hips. She was so cute and innocent and honest. It really turned me on." "Ja, it's turning me on also," interjected Love, as he looked at everyone and laughed. Steve continued. "She was giving me a hand job and started to go down on me. I was turned on, so I tried to slide my hand down her panties. She kept pulling my hand away, so I stopped and sat up." "Oh, wow," said Total, leaning in. "She looked at me and said, 'I'm on my period, do you mind?' I was so turned on by that point that I said, 'No, not at all, I will get a towel.' She said okay, and we got a towel." "Oh, this is getting hot," said Bobby as he smiled wider. As I laid her down on the bed, she looked up at me and said, "I have to tell you one more thing." I said, "You're sure? Anything? Don't laugh. Promise. And please stay with me tonight." I said I wouldn't. Laugh and I obviously would stay with her. She looked up at me with the cutest innocent expression and added, "I'm a virgin." "No way," said the three boys in unison. My jaw dropped and I pulled away, said Steve, stepping back a little. "No, no, no," she pleaded, "don't pull away. You promised." "Please, please, please," she begged as she pulled me toward her. "Holy shit. What did you do?" asked Love. "I pulled the tampon out and I had sex with her. It was amazing at the time, but I feel terrible now." "That's crazy," said Bobby. "Did you at least stay and cuddle after?" asked Total. "Yeah, of course. I was attracted to her and respected her. We talked about her family in Canada. I think she was from the French province. She had such a sexy accent." "What?" said Total as he looked at Love. "French?" asked Love, now more focused. "What was her name?" Steve looked over his shoulder again and stated, "It was Helene." "No fucking way," said Total as he pushed Love into the counter, causing Love to rebound and push him back. Steve stopped dead and stared at them. "What's the matter with you two?" asked Steve. "Well, Love was with that same girl 2 nights ago. She told him the same story, but wouldn't sleep with him, so he gave up," said Bobby. Love continued. "Then last night she came down to the hot tub to see me, and I was in there with Alice, so she took of crying and running. Actually, when we were talking last night, she mentioned she walked in on people making out in the hot tub, but she laughed it off. I thought it was strange that she would mention a random thing like that. Must have been you," noted Bobby. "Wow, this is crazy. You couldn't write this shit," said Total, shaking his head in amazement. "Lines, Love. Lines," said Bobby. "Taut. Lines? No way, guys. I felt it. She was a virgin. Yeah, she got you too,"
Hey guys, what are you talking about over here?
said Collie as she burst in between them. "Al, I will tell you later," said Total. "I'll relax," she said with a playful smile. "That's what you get. That whole table is talking about us." Sorry," said Total. "Love spilled the beans. That's fine. We will never meet these guys again. Anyways, can I say goodbye to you outside? Our bus is leaving soon. Plus, I want to sign your book." Total and Nicole walked outside and went into the air-conditioned internet cafe across the street away from the herd waiting for the bus. "Here, read it," she said as she opened the book and shoved it at him. "Oh wow, you wrote something. I stole it from Whitey, who was writing profanities and heard them talking about us." "Oh," said Total shyly. "Well, you meant a lot to me. I wasn't so sure at first, but now I am. Thanks for everything, even though you blabbed our whole story." "You are welcome," said Total. "I enjoyed our time together, even though it was short." "Yeah, I've never done that before. I'm usually not like this. You're the first guy I've been with on the trip. Most likely the last." Total just stared at her. "Make sure to write an email," she added. "I will," said Total. "Can you kiss me again? With those pretty red lips," she said with renewed flair. "Sure." Total leaned over and gave her a long, slow kiss and felt her soft neck with his hands. She let go and pecked him again, looking in his eyes as she walked away. Wow, couldn't write this stuff. Not even close. Love met up with the boys and hopped on the cramped bus to Athens. Love sat behind a large man whose chair leaned so far back into Love's lap, Love could have given the man a haircut or head massage. Eventually, they all fell asleep until the hustle and bustle of Athens woke them up to a view of the pillared Acropolis. It looked as if the columns were heads, trunk and toes, belonging to the ideals and giants of antiquity, standing tall and firm holding up civilization. Total, exhausted yet ignited, opened the book. "It's not the booze, it's the chase that kills ya. Love, let's rock, paper, scissors for it. Tequila with the Lesbity at the palace party. And Ninja Turtles. Even though all I could do was watch you guys have all the fun that I wanted to have, I still love you, and you were my favorite waste cases to serve. 4 tequilas and 4 beers. Zoxo. Leslie Eckerles party. I knew I was drink when I went swimming with the camera. Love, the past couple days were great thanks to you. Hope you see you again, and I'll be sure to keep your sexy Canadian ass in mind when I plan the next trip. Have fun on the rest of your vacation. I knew I was drunk when I became aggressive. Collie, if you want to speak Aussie, change your to R. Connie, fucking straight arm that shit. Don't ask me. I'm a dumb cunt. I smash Jaegers and run from bitches. Whitey,